Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video. Today is Sunday, December 17th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got Sunday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kickoff in about 8 minutes and counting. I can't wait. These are two of the top three AFC teams, or maybe two of the top four. And, we have to go in week to week where we're going to have like our favorites in the NFL, in the NFC, and the AFC, right? And we always feel that we're going to have this bias or this explanation why we feel that this is the best team in the NFL. Maybe the Baltimore Ravens on the AFC side, San Francisco 49ers on the NFC side. And we've seen the Dallas Cowboys play very, very well, right? And they blew out the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you see them play a team like Buffalo, even though you feel like Buffalo is getting to a point where they may end up making the playoffs and they're getting hot, right? So it makes you kind of wonder. Obviously, playing at home and playing on the road are two different things. But just like when you see the Cowboys, when they play at home, they can get a very, very good win against Philadelphia to make you think, hey, maybe this is the second best team, in the NFC. But after losing to the Buffalo Bills on the road that bad, are they really the second best team? Or did they just have a really good win against Philadelphia and they still can't find a way to win on the road? So just for example, in this matchup here, everyone has already presented the crown to the Baltimore Ravens, right? That the Chiefs and the Dolphins and the Jags have no shot. That's what a lot of people are saying. What happens if the Jaguars win this game at home and they blow out the Ravens? Then what is the narrative? So it's going to change week in and week out. And I don't know if Jacksonville is going to win the game or not, but it kind of feels like that Buffalo Bills situation, where you have a team that's good, but then they go on the road. Can you still play similar to how you play at home on the road, or are you going to have your road woes, come to light, and then we'll see the Jags winning at home, or the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, the real deal Holyfield? We're going to find out here in about 7 minutes. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. A lot of upsets, obviously, on the NFL scene. Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting that win against the Green Bay Packers. And I'll be honest, that was one of the sweetest wins for me all year. Anytime I can beat Green Bay, it's a fucking celebration. Let's go. Baker Mayfield was fucking bacon, and I did pretty good in fantasy. Sam Howell ended up getting hurt, so I didn't get the maximum amount of points from him. But other than that, I feel pretty good, and I think my chances of, at least getting to the championship round are pretty damn good. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to win it all, but I feel pretty good. I think I had the best week out of anyone in our league. So, like I said, you might not be able to hit on all 9 spots, but if you can hit on 7 or 8, chances are you're going to have a very, very good productive week. Division leaders right now, Ravens, sitting there at 10-3, but will they be 11-3 after tonight? We will find out. Matt in the building, what's good? Sarah in the building, what's good? Hybrid in the building, what's good? Hey, let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. Padilla in the building, what's good? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I think a lot of people thought the Cowboys were going to continue that success as being, hey, we're the big dog now. We beat Philly by 20. We're going to go to the NFC Championship game. Then you go on the road to Buffalo and you look like shit. Now, I know that the rain was a factor, but, the thing is, teams playing at home and team playing on the road is two different things. And it doesn't matter, if you're the San Francisco 49ers or even if the Baltimore Ravens, if you're those two top teams that we feel. Now I need to see Baltimore prove to everyone that they can win a tough game against another really tough competitor. And I honestly think that these are two of the top 3 teams in the AFC. You got Baltimore, you got Kansas City, right? You got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then I'll put the Miami Dolphins on the outside looking in because I still think the Jags have more balance than Miami. But we know Miami, when they're hot, they get really, really hot on offense, and that defense can get hot from time to time as well, especially when you play a shitty team like the Jets. But as we get further and further along, they're going to need Waddle, Tyreek, Tua, and Mostert to be healthy. But more importantly, the Miami Dolphins, if they want to be able to overachieve, they're going to have that O-line and D-line, defense, coaching, and play calling hit another stride. Otherwise, Miami's going to go to the playoffs and they're going to be one and done. But I really like the balance that I'm getting out of the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars. You could probably say that they have the best balance out of any two teams in the AFC. With the Chiefs, they got a good defense. Offense is still struggling a little bit, but from time to time they can flash. And the same thing with the Miami Dolphins. Most of the time the offense is on point. Defense, once in a while, gets hot, but sometimes is reeling. But they can end up putting a championship performance like they did today for me in fantasy when they go against the Jets. But the next three games, or a couple games for Miami is not going to be as easy. So it's going to be a big reality check for a couple of these teams as we're moving forward. And this is going to be the last week that I'm really happy that Miami's been doing well since week 11. 13, 23, 14, 9, and 22 points in fantasy. They've held teams, Raiders to 13, the Jets to 7, the Washington Commanders 15, the Titans 28, and the Jets to a 0 today. But the next three games are going to be Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo. So it's not going to be easy. You can't use the Miami Dolphin defense the rest of the year in fantasy. If you do, you're going to get your ass kicked, or you're probably not going to be getting as many points as you want. I'm not going to be using them. I ended up using Miami for the last month, about 5-6 weeks. Now I got the Jets defense. Those lineups look a little bit better, and it's still possible that the Dolphins defense comes to play. But I'm not sure, in the, fantasy playoffs that I would trust the Dolphins defense against Dallas, the Dolphins defense at Baltimore, or the Dolphins defense versus Buffalo. And you got to think, even though Dallas got their ass kicked today, they're still one of the top 6-7 teams in the NFL, just like Baltimore. And the Buffalo Bills are getting hot at the right time. If there's one team, that you have to keep an eye on to do some damage in the playoffs, if they get there, the number one team is the Buffalo Bills. And you could have said that 2 weeks ago, last week, and then after the win against the Cowboys today, it is solidified, it is stamped. Buffalo is coming. Now, we know that their defense is still a little bit suspect, but it feels like the offense, and after firing Ken Dorsey, things are starting to come to life. And I wouldn't want to play Buffalo if I was Kansas City, Jacksonville, Miami, or even Baltimore. I wouldn't want to play Buffalo in those early rounds because they definitely feel like they could upset a team. And then the only other team that I was thinking that maybe could get kind of hot if they would have won yesterday would have been the Denver Broncos. If they were able to upset the Detroit Lions after starting off 1-4, 1-5, you could say, whoa, Denver, their defense is playing good. Russ is playing a little bit better, but then they had a reality check on the road playing for, everything, and then falling really flat on their faces against the Detroit Lions with, Sam Laporta with 3 tutties. You got Gibbs and Montgomery. You got Amon-Ra, Goff and the Goffense. And the defense actually kind of came to play for the Lions, even though we feel they don't really have a well-rounded defense. So we'll see what happens today. And I know, it doesn't matter if you're an NFC fan or an AFC fan, but just trust me, this is going to be a really good matchup, and this is arguably 2 of the top 3 in the AFC, and I could literally see this as a preview matchup further along into the playoffs. If anything happens to Buffalo, Kansas City, or Miami, this actually might be the AFC championship game this year, next year, or the following year. You have to have good balance. Miami doesn't really have the balance. Kansas City doesn't really have the balance, but the Jags and the Ravens do. It just depends if each unit comes to play. And we obviously know if Kansas City's offense can match their defense, they can make it to the Super Bowl or the AFC championship game, but it's a real big what if. And Kadarius Toney continues to keep dropping balls for picks, and I feel that, they can play good, against shitty teams like New England, but if you end up going to the playoffs against Baltimore, Jacksonville, or Miami, are you going to be able to bring it? And it feels like Kansas City and the Dallas Cowboys need home field advantage more than any other team in the AFC or the NFC right now. So moving forward, if they want to make it to the NFC championship game or AFC championship game, the Cowboys and the Chiefs need to do anything in their power to try to get to that point. And it's not really looking too bright for either one, but we still got a couple weeks left, so we'll find out. Let's go, baby. Daniel in the building, Padilla in the building. Let's go. Secondary, it's a dead last in the last 5 games, but again, they're front 7. So if they can get sack lunches and Josh Allen can cause pressure, you can kind of hide some of your weaknesses. And that's what you typically do, just like with the Kansas City Chiefs. their secondary isn't very good. Philadelphia Eagles, their secondary isn't very good. But if you get good pressure up front, you can hide some of those flaws and hide some of those weaknesses. But again, Lamar is Lamar, so we'll find out. But again, this is Lamar on the road, not Lamar at home. So we will find out very shortly if the Ravens are like the Niners and they are the best team in the AFC, or it's just going to be a four-way race between the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Jags, and the Chiefs. We're going to find out here in just a second. Odin's son in the building. What's good? How are you, brother? Good win today. I mean, it wasn't pretty. Still had some drop passes. Kadarius Toney still needs a lot of work, but you got the job done. And I might have to use Patrick Mahomes in fantasy moving forward because I only have him and Sam Howell. I haven't heard the extent of the Sam Howell injury just yet. Hopefully it's not too serious or season ending. But it was nice to see Mahomes get into a little bit better of a groove, but still he's not hitting 20 points in fantasy just yet. So I feel that he's not back and that offense isn't back, but at least you got the win, in New England where you needed to get done. Big facts. Let's go, baby. Now, I could have told you that after that first drop in the first game. Tony got to go. I already told you that, man. Not even practice squad. Motherfucker needs to be cut. You know. Let's go, baby. Sun Bowl, Notre Dame and Oregon State. That's going to be a good one. But the thing is I would assume Notre Dame is going to win because Oregon State's coach left. A lot of the guys were transferring out. Some of them aren't going to be playing in the bowl game. So if Oregon State's coach and they had a Pac-12 still, I would say Notre Dame will win, but Oregon State will fight like hell. But now with all those problems with Oregon State, with their coach leaving and all the players transferring out, it should be a very easy win for Notre Dame, unfortunately. For at least Beaver fans. For you, it's going to be great. So let's go, baby. Your boys rolling 152 points in the first week in the playoffs. I'll take that. And that's by far more than anybody else in the league. So Chief 135.16, and he's got Keaton Mitchell. So as long as Mitchell doesn't go off, I should be with a little bit of a lead. I don't know by how many. He's at 135. I'm at 152. So if Mitchell gets 10, I'll still be up by 7, and then we'll see what happens. So let's go. Let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. We had that 3-day stretch where it was very piss poor for effort, but then now I think 7 out of the last 9 streams we've hit 100 or more. So, and then that one other stream out of those 2 that didn't, I think one hit 60 to 75, and the lowest one I think we hit 20. And then we had 100, 120, 175, 200, and we've even eclipsed the 300 mark yesterday. So it just feels good to be able to have that love and appreciation. And there's a lot of things I got to be able to take care of. Now I got to be able to go to Petco Lab, and I got to buy this powder for Paisley's teeth. Because obviously I haven't taken her. A lot of people don't brush their dog's teeth, or dog or cat, and I want to make sure that I'm going to give Paisley the best life possible. And I bought this toothbrush kit from Petco. There's no way. I mean, if you've ever tried to brush your dog or puppy's teeth, there's no fucking way, man. You literally have to sedate that animal. And even then, you have to be careful because you don't want to irritate the gums. Because a lot of time with that plaque, if you get a little bit of that yellow and brown, that discoloring, it's really up towards the top of the gums. And I tried doing it for a little bit, but I felt if I was going to keep rubbing as hard as I was on her teeth and gums, I was going to make her gums bleed. So I figured I'm going to have to do this Petco Lab. And it's just a powder that you pour into the food, and then the dog eats it, and it naturally gives it better breath, and it cleans away the tartar and the plaque. But they're expensive. One little tub costs like $45. It's a lot of fucking money. You know what I mean? But I do love Paisley a lot, so I'm going to order that tomorrow for her. And it's not like her teeth are terrible. She's a young pup. She just turned 2 years old, and there's really only one tooth on each side that's got a little bit of discoloring at the top. But if you do take care of your pets and you take care of their teeth, you can actually help a dog or a cat live a couple extra years of their life. And I want to make sure that she's healthy. So, man, well, every owner is going to handle their dogs different, bro. But for me, Paisley's my daughter. I don't got no kids. and I want to make sure that she's got the best life possible. And most people, I was actually reading, and I went to Petco and I asked them, I mean, like, what's the percentage of people that actually brush the teeth, out of the dog and like for maintenance and whatnot? And it's very low. It's like somewhere between 5 to like 9% total of dog owners actually do it. So like 1 out of every 10 dog owners does it. Not very many, but again, I got the dog and myself on a specific diet, and I want to make sure that she's happy. So let's go, baby. Yes, I am. I am going to do the Seahawks game versus the Eagles. I'll try to do some reaction videos tomorrow as well in the morning. And we may not have Jalen Hurts. He's battling a flu, and Geno's injured as well. So there might be a possibility where it's Drew Lock versus Marcus Mariota. Not ideal. Hopefully, we can have Geno Smith and Jalen Hurts, but there is a strong possibility where that might happen. So let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. I'm ready for this game. This is going to be good. I've been waiting for this one for a couple weeks. I had this one circled on the calendar. And like I said, we know the Ravens are great. But again, the narrative is always, week to week. And I don't think anyone anticipates the Jags winning this game, let alone winning big. But what happens if that does? Well, how do we see the Baltimore Ravens if the Jags win at home? Do we see that the Jags are a little bit better than everyone thinks? And maybe we could say that they're right there with Baltimore and Kansas City as the best team. I mean, what happens if Jacksonville ends up winning by 20 plus points? What's the narrative? If they lose by 20, everyone's going to be like, yeah, Baltimore is the best, just like the San Francisco 49ers are the best in the NFC. But what happens if Jacksonville wins? Even if they win by 3, I mean, that's a big, big deal, right? Ravens are 10-3. Jags are 8-5. This is a big, big game for playoff positioning and confidence, and these two teams could end up matching up against each other in a few weeks in the playoffs. So there's a lot to be able to gain from this dub. Can Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens win on the road against a very tough opponent, arguably maybe the best opponent that they have in the AFC? Because right now with Miami and Kansas City, it's kind of hit or miss. But with the Jags, as long as Trevor is healthy with ETN, to me, they're right there with Baltimore as the most well-rounded teams in the AFC. But again, Miami and Kansas City can give you splash power, and they can splash here and there. But I like to be able to see consistency. And consistency is key, not only in fantasy, but when you're watching games and when you're going on this deep run in the playoffs, obviously, and trying to gain position in December. Big facts. Let's go, baby. Jags 8-5. Look at the Colts at 8-6 and the Texans at 8-6. That's wild, right? And then you got 10-3 Ravens, 9-5 Browns with Joe Flacco. Can you imagine if they made the playoffs? He's been playing good. Bengals 8-6, Steelers 7-7. All those Steeler fans in preseason that told me that they're going to the Super Bowl. Kenny Pickett is the truth. You're in last place, so I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. And all those Steeler fans haven't come back, so big surprise. What happens when you count your eggs before they hatch, thinking that the Steelers were going to take that big jump this year? I told them it may take a couple years, and they told me I was an idiot. So, well, we already know who's going to end up being right at the end of the day, more chances than not. It ain't them. All right, baby, let's go. And here we go. Go, baby, go. Oh, ball's loose. Finley in the building. What's good? And it's all about balance in football. Like I keep telling people, it's O-line, D-line, defense, coaching, and play calling. Those are so essential. And again, we know Miami can splash and Kansas City can splash, but these are the two most well-rounded teams from offense and defense in the entire AFC. And then, only slightly a little bit lower, maybe than the San Francisco 49ers. And then you got a team like Dallas that normally plays good, offense and defense, but they got obliterated on the road. And a lot of teams are a shell of themselves when they go on the road. Only the elite, right? Like the Baltimore Ravens, right? And the San Francisco 49ers can usually find a way to overcome those road woes and get big dubs. I'm not sure if Jacksonville can win big games on the road yet. Miami, Kansas City, I don't know. Dallas obviously can't. Philadelphia can't this year. So Baltimore has a chance to solidify themselves as the AFC San Francisco 49ers, and we may end up seeing a Ravens-Niners Super Bowl, which is what I'm kind of thinking. But if you want to get there, you have to end up beating a very good team like the Jacksonville Jags on the road. Show us that you can play just as good at home and on the road, and you only usually have 3 teams or 4 teams in the entire NFL that are championship contenders that can do so. Lawrence? And complete. Preston in the building. What's good? Get those likes up. Let's see if we can get to 20 tonight. Third down and 4. Man in motion. Shotgun set. Lawrence, good protection. Little flip. ETN, he is awesome. First down, Jags, move the chains. And it really, comes with Trevor and ETN. If Trevor and ETN, right, if they play well, right, chances are that defense and Josh Allen will pick up the slack, and they play really, really well. But anytime you get Trevor and ETN with like maybe a decent game but not a great game, usually they'll, lose. So it's like they have to be on point for them to be able to carry the load. Let's go, baby. Shotgun set. Little spin move by ETN. Short gain. I just wish that the Ravens had Mark Andrews. I got Mark Andrews in fantasy. I didn't cut him. He's sitting on IR. So if I win the championship, he's going to be a part of it because he's helped me get where I am today. And I still got Sam Laporta starting. So I ended up, covering myself with insurance with Laporta and Andrews and whatnot. But, it's one of those things that wouldn't it be a shame that if, the Baltimore Ravens ended up winning the Super Bowl and Andrews couldn't even play, or if they end up getting there and they lose and maybe they could have won, against the Niners, if that's what we end up getting, if, Mark Andrews was healthy. But, Isaiah Likely and company, they got other options that can step up, but it's just not as good or consistent as a Mark Andrews. But with that being said, right, with the 3-headed horse at running back, offensive line playing good, defense playing very fast and ferocious, I feel that this Baltimore Raven team, as long as Lamar doesn't get hurt, this should be the favorite, moving forward in the AFC. You would assume if they have home field advantage in the playoffs and they get a first-round bye, this should be the team that should be able to go the furthest, you would assume, as long as there's no serious injuries to the offense or defense with Roquan Smith or Lamar. Reflect in the building. What's good? I mean, I should have started Patrick Mahomes, and but I decided to go safe with Sam Howell. You left some players on the bench, with Mostert and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek. I don't know if you woke up early this morning, but when Tyreek ended up, not playing, I knew Waddle and Mostert were going to go off in that game. And I don't know. You go through your determination on who to start and I started the Dolphins defense over the Jets because I obviously knew that the Dolphins were going to play really, really well today. And you have so many options, but sometimes, again, you have so many options, and then sometimes you second guess yourself and you think, nah, they're not going to do anything. And then they end up actually having like a career day. And so Gibbs was left on the bench. James Cook ended up, having his career day. So I don't know what Fo King Money, he was just reeling and going based off the 4 double-digit starts. But I don't think even Fo King Money expected James Cook to have, the game that he had. So he left Gibbs points on the bench. You left Mostert and Waddle points on the bench, but it still is relatively close. And if you end up having a big week too, you can still end up making it to the championship. So, yeah, I mean that's what happens sometimes when you have too many. Like I said, you kind of like you get paralysis by analysis. You're like, okay, this is what's gonna happen, and then the complete opposite happens, and then you look down on your bench and you're like, holy hell! And then you see all the other guys not doing very well either, kind of like what I had last week. When you see a lot of guys that are under 10, there's no worse feeling when you see under 10, under 10, under 10, under 10, and then you look down on your bench and there's like 3 guys that if you would have played, you would have probably ended up still not being where you want, but you would have been a hell of a lot better than where you are now. But again, you can still pull it out in week 2. So that's big facts. 35-mile-an-hour wind. Yeah. Well, I have Jets D and Miami D, and I already, the way, that's why, when you look at things like that, you need to go and look on my Miami defense, look to see how many times I've played them, and then click on Miami and look at how many double-digit, points that they've been putting up for like the last 4 or 5 weeks. They were the number 1 rated D. So if they were the number 1 rated D, what does that mean? Number 1 rated D this week, right, is going to put you in a good position if they get a turnover, right? That means less field for Tua or Mostert or Waddle to go to get into the end zone. See, I think a little bit differently than others. When I see a good matchup, on an offense that's weak, I'm always thinking, okay, they're going to get a pick. They're going to get sacks. They're going to get fumbles. Tua's not going to have to go 80, 90 yards in the wind. There's going to be some, fumbles where maybe they only have to do like 1 play and they're in the end zone, or maybe 2. So again, not many people think like that. I know I'm kind of a different breed, but that's the type of strategy that I typically look at. And, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes where we have guys that we normally use and we look at the matchup. We don't like it. We put the guy on the bench and then unfortunately it bit you. But at least, with Waddle and Mostert sitting there on the bench for you, he at least, had the Gibbs. So imagine if the Gibbs was in the lineup, with the Cook, then you would be really fucked. So at least at this point, you kind of canceled each other out by not implementing pieces that hit. It probably was worse for you because you had 2 and he only had 1, but still, I still think that you can pull it out. Well, like I said, you live and you learn, you know what I mean? And it's matchup to matchup. So, all right, Lamar, 2nd down and 8. Scrambling, gambling, floater. Nice catch. 1st down, Ravens. So Dolphins defense against the Raiders, 13 points, right? They only gave up 13. Against the Jets, they only gave up 7, 23 points, okay? Washington, 14 points in fantasy. They only gave up 15. Against the Titans, right? They didn't look that good. They gave up 28, but they had a pick, 2 forced fumbles, and a sack, right? And a touchdown on defense. They got 9. So even though that was a bad game for Miami, the Jets, the last time they played them, they got a 23. So I already knew I was going to probably get 20 points in fantasy, and they did. They got 22 and 23 in the 2 games against the Jets because that offense stinks. Lamar. Yep. I mean, and now, I got rid of Dobbs and I only have Sam Howell and Mahomes. Now I'm stuck. I'm going to have to play Patrick Mahomes the rest of the way, even if the matchups are bad, because I don't know the extent of Sam Howell's injury, and I'll find out if you guys know anything, anything that comes out, if it's, just something minor and whatnot. But I'm going to have to go with Patrick Mahomes the rest of the way. And then whatever I get, hopefully he gives me 15 or more. But again, there's going to be a chance he gives me 10 to 14, and I hope that's enough. But hopefully 15 to 19. But even getting to 19 from Mahomes is kind of a stretch. Lamar? Or I could pick up someone on the wire and be crazy and like start Baker Mayfield or something and then roll the dice and see if he has a great game. So, but we ended up beating the Packers, and that one was really, really sweet. And obviously the Kelsey production is going to be clearly affected with Mahomes. And last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games for Mahomes. 5 points, 15 points, 16, 21, 13, 13, 15.7. So it hasn't been good, but it is what it is. Weather most of the time is a factor, but also too, you have to look at, who the quarterback is and how good they did against that team the first time around. And it was just a couple weeks ago where they had 20 plus points in fantasy. So that was the reason why I picked up the Jets and the Dolphin defense, like 2 months ago, because I looked at the schedule and I said, ooh, Dolphins, if they can get hot towards the end of the season, I might be able to use them twice against the Jets, and that could help me win. And I haven't won yet this week, but it's looking pretty good. You always have to make sure you're looking for those shitty offenses and finding defenses that are getting hot at the right time. And then you have to roll the dice and hope that not only do they hit 10 points or more, but hopefully they put up 15, 20, 25 points. First down and 10. Megan with a tour. I know he should have not wore the tie. We've already said that. No ties for the rest of his life. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang, $2 holla, 98 to go. Let me know what you want, and I got you. Bryce, yeah. With the Jets offense being so shitty, I wouldn't even be playing, Jets players or Giants players. Honestly, I would just be rolling the dice. Good matchup, bad matchup. Waddle, Tyreek, Mostert. They're still a top 4 team in the AFC. Yeah, the defenses they go against might slow them down a little, but these guys are fucking athletes. They're really, really good. And you got to think the offensive lines for the Giants and Jets really aren't that good. Quarterbacks, DeVito has been better than anybody, Zach Wilson and all the other guys that they have. So you think, okay, well, they can't throw, they're going to run. But also a part of that is they have to be able to have good blocking up front to be able to get loose. And sometimes Saquon and Breece Hall will go off and they'll hit 15, 20, 25 points. And it's perfect, exactly what you want. But when the offensive line stinks and the offense stinks and the quarterback sometimes stink, right? Then it's going to hinder what you end up doing because it's going to be a game script. Because if they get down by too much, they're not going to run the ball anymore. So in the third and fourth quarter, if the Giants and Jets are down by 17, what are the chances that they keep pounding the rock with Breece Hall or Saquon Barkley? Not very good. So you have to look at it from a coaching perspective as well. At least that's how I look at it in fantasy. I try to look at the matchup and I think, okay, if they get down, they're not going to run the ball anymore. They're going to throw, kind of like Sam Howell. They get down, and that's where a lot of his garbage, numbers come up, is that when Sam Howell's down by fucking 20, they're not going to hand the ball off as much, to their Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson. They're going to be throwing to Scary Terry and everyone else, right? So you have to look at game flow and game script. And these are things that not a lot of people look at, but, I'm a little bit different, I guess. Lamar, look at this. Lamar falling down. Getting up, incomplete. Yeah, I feel for you, bro. I looked at your line and I was going to message you, but I was like, I can't. I was like, I already know what it's like to shit the bed in fantasy, and at least it's best of 2 weeks. So at least that we can hang our head. It's best of 2 weeks and whatnot. But again, you've been pretty good at selecting, the right guy. But when you have an all-star team like me and you, sometimes we're going to fuck up and we have too many guys at the same position, running back or wide receiver. And sometimes we just pick the wrong one. NFL is unpredictable. Third down and 9. Lamar, 3rd and 9. Oh, good defense by the Jags. Jacksonville, baby. That was an incomplete pass. Yeah. And also, too, being able to double up. Like if you noticed, if you take a chance, and like I said, 5 out of my 9, right, are just on 2 different teams. I got David Montgomery, Laporta, Amon-Ra. So if they do good, I do good. And then I got Rachaad White and Mike Evans, and that was by strategy. So that way, if both of those teams win, like they did, obviously Detroit over Denver, Tampa Bay over Green Bay, right? Then you're hitting on those 5 pieces. And then I could have even doubled up and I could have even picked up Baker Mayfield off the wire. And if I was really ballsy, I could have thrown him in there, not knowing that he was going to do as good as he did today with like a perfect rating. But sometimes if you can calculate it correctly and you can do 3-3 or 3-2. 3 players from one team, 2 players from another team, and then the rest of the spots, kicker, defense, and then you have 1-1-1. You have like other, teams from other players, in the lineup. But if you can do it, sometimes it's going to burn you. But in like today's case for me, it's propelling me to a win. Reflect with the tour. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. $2 holla. Kick is up, and it's good. Justin Tucker, Mr. Hall of Fame and Mr. Consistency. All right, let me know what you guys want to do, and I got you. And I like seeing 21 out of Singletary on my bench, and Deontay Johnson with 16, James Conner with 18. I like that. That makes me feel very confident that I can win this championship where I got the good depth. Taysom Hill, you're off my team. I know exactly where I'm going to go after I drop him, after all these games are over. I got a certain spot that I'm looking at, and then that's all the moves I'm going to make. I'm keeping everyone on the roster, and we're going to go from there. Let's go. $4. 96 to go. And then reflect. And Megan, let me know what you guys want. And I got you. Hope everyone had a fantastic day. Obviously, if things got rough in fantasy, it can be a little tough. I've been there. I've been playing fantasy for a long time, and I've gotten my heart broken many, many times. Like I said, we've done this fantasy football league and 6-7 years on the channel. I haven't even won it, in like 3 years. So it's like I feel like I'm overdue, but like I said, sometimes it's a little bit of luck. Sometimes it's it's hard to explain, with fantasy football. A lot of times you can do everything right and still come out on the losing end. So, but I kind of feel that it's my year this year. Like I said, I had the best draft. I was projected to finish number one. I don't know if I will. We'll find out if I will, but I feel like the way that my team is suited up, I'm going to have a good chance. And hopefully we end up getting Geno Smith and Jalen Hurts. And that's another thing. Like, this is the first year in the fantasy playoffs where a lot of the quarterbacks you can't even use. Like, a lot of the big name quarterbacks are injured or not playing well. I don't think I've ever seen a fantasy football year where you might end up winning with like a Jake Browning or a Baker Mayfield or maybe like a Joe Flacco. And I'm a guy that usually will take chances, even sometimes in the fantasy playoffs. But I usually like to try to be safe about things and go with consistency. But this might be a year where I might end up, plugging in someone. Like, I'm still going to probably, if I make it to the championship round, that last week I'll play Mahomes versus the Chargers D, which is absolutely terrible. That'll be good. But in these next 2 weeks, I might, look on the wire and I might just roll the dice and just grab somebody. And if I don't like the Mahomes matchup, I might just say, fuck it. Because if I'm only getting 10 to 15 points out of Mahomes anyways, roll the dice, put in a Flacco, maybe Flacco gets 20, and that might help me out. So, it is what it is. But it's just so crazy to say that you might end up winning with a Baker Mayfield or a Joe Flacco or a Jake Browning, but that's where we're at right now. 3-0 Baltimore. Christmas tree decorating with the Ollie, with the big O. Nice. I don't like seeing an 8 with Sam Howell or a 6 with Cairo Santos, but everything else was good for me. And then, of course, fucking Chief throws up a 40 plus with Run CMC. That made me pull my hair out if I had any, but I was like, oh God, is he going to get 50? And it's like, the Cardinal defense is absolute trash. So I knew it was going to be 30 plus, but I was hoping it wasn't going to be 40 or 50. And then when he hit 40, I got really worried because there was still a hell of a lot of time left, like a quarter left. But at least it got marginalized a little bit there towards the end. Good tackle. And I really like watching both of these teams. So, like, we got the Dolphins and we got the Chiefs. They give you those splash plays and that excitement. These two teams are kind of gritty. They play kind of the same way. They're going to run the football, they're going to air it out, and they really rely on their defenses to keep them in games. And even though the offenses get all the love, the defenses are the reason why these two teams are going to excel and go further than people think. ETN, first down, Jags. Love me some ETN. Tried getting him in the draft, but I couldn't get him. Uh-oh, we got an injury. Jacksonville. Duval. Walltown in the building. What's good? I keep telling all you guys that are Falcons fans and Saints fans, take the goddamn division already. You guys are just like letting me have it, and I'm getting pissed. I want to finish in third. But if the Falcons can't even beat the goddamn Panthers, like, okay, well, so it's like it's really going to come down to, yeah, probably you and me, and I would rather have it be you, honestly. If we go to the playoffs, fine, but I wanted to have a third place schedule, and I want to be able to get a quarterback in the draft. And if Baker keeps playing like this and we go to the playoffs, and then if we end up like winning a game somehow, we're probably not going to draft a quarterback. And that's going to be really irritating and frustrating for me. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, I want to make the playoffs, right? But if you have a year when you see like a potential franchise quarterback that you could possibly get, and there's like 3, 4, 5 of them that you could either say, I want this one or this one. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Quinn Ewers. I want that instead of going to the playoffs. But if the quarterbacks were not there in this draft, I'd be like, okay, let's take the NFC South and let's keep going and let's see what happens. I mean, the Bucs are pretenders, and it is what it is. But hopefully, Mike Evans gets paid because he is him. And I don't want to see my best receiver in the franchise history go to another team next year. I hope that they give him whatever he wants and he retires a Buccaneer. And if he ends up re-signing with the Buccaneers, if I buy a jersey, it'll be Mike Evans. I haven't bought any offensive jerseys for the Bucs in like 10 to 12 years. But if Mike Evans ends up staying, I still want to get an all-star first. I still want to get a Rondé Barber and a John Lynch. And those two for the defense, since I already have Sapp and Brooks and Simeon Rice. But Lynch and Barber, I don't have yet. I'd rather go Rondé first, then Allstott, then Lynch, and then obviously if I was going to go for an offensive jersey, I never bought Brady or Gronk. I'm not bandwagon, but I would definitely invest in Evans, and I love Godwin too. But Evans is first ballot Hall of Famer. Big fact. Oh, yeah, Jaden Daniels. I take Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. Just give me somebody that we can work with and mold, and someone to give Baker, a little bit of competitiveness in the quarterback room with Kyle Trask. I just want to be able to have someone I can believe in, and it's like 1 week Baker looks good, 1 week Baker looks bad. He's kind of like Eli Manning. It's like 1 game good, 1 game bad when Eli was in his prime. 1 game good, 1 game bad. And it's tough to be able to get behind a guy that, can throw for 4 touchdown passes, have like a perfect quarterback rating, and then the next week throw for 1 touchdown pass, 2 fumbles, and 3 picks. It's just really frustrating. First down, Jags. I want consistency, but yeah, Jaden Daniels would look good in a Saint uniform or a Buck uniform or a Falcon uniform. Big facts. Riker Evans, I got you. Oh, wow, look at the tree. Pretty. Not too big, not too small, very colorful. He looks like he's having fun. Nice, I like it. Family time is the best time. Love it. And thanks for Sarah and Cyberpunk helping out on the Twitter X side. I appreciate that as well. Yeah, I'll throw them up here in just a second. And I'll get your Riker, and I'll get reflect some Husky photos or some Seahawk photos here in a second too. Second down and 12, shotgun set for Trevor. Little screen pass to ETN. What happened to my hands? Shotgun set for Trevor. Third down and 12, screen pass. Good tackle. There's a couple of your photos there in Australia with the Ollie looking like he having a good time, decorating the tree. Very colorful there. Not too big, not too small. Perfect. I love it. Let me get you some Riker here as well. Fifty-yard attempt. Kick is up. Doink. No good. Wow. Wow. McManus. Remember that missed field goal. That could come back to bite him. It's like if you're the Jags, you can't afford a missed field goal at all, not even one. Not against the Baltimore Ravens, the number one team in the AFC. You can't do it whatsoever. I appreciate you. Those whites, man. Those jerseys are fire. Let's go, baby. See if I can find a more crispy photo. When a photo is not crispy enough to my standards, I have to find another one. There we go. That's more crispy. I like it. KFC, extra crispy. All right. Appreciate you. We'll get reflect some photos here as well. You got anything that you want to be able to have? I mean, I can just do Huskies and Seahawks. If you got something specific, just let me know. I got you. I know you don't really care, but I like to be able to, show that love and appreciation. And like I said, it's like, not any really other channels are going to be doing anything like this. So it's always good to be able to show others what your favorite things are. That's a big part of, having that bond here on this channel. So different places, different people, different ages, different teams, different types of fandom. Let's go. Appreciate you. First down and 10. Shotgun set. Lamar with a design keeper. Good defense by the Jags. I hope we end up getting a Ravens Niners Super Bowl like we did a few years back. Little Flacco, Colin Kaepernick action from back in the day. Little Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. And obviously the Ravens would be underdogs in the Super Bowl against the Niners, but sometimes you just got to wait your turn. Sometimes, you got these other teams that are out there, the Chiefs and the Bills, the Chiefs and the Bills, the Chiefs and the Bills, and then the Eagles and then the Rams and all these other teams. Sometimes you just got to wait for the other teams to get hurt, or you just have to be able to, keep getting better slowly but surely. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Saxonville. Josh Allen and company. I'm happy for you, man. I hope that you keep stacking chips, man. I really want Huskies and the Ducks to take over the Big Ten if we can, and that way that we're not, oh, they're just like the sixth team or the seventh team. No, I'm trying to go for first, second, or third. I want to go up there right with Michigan and Ohio State. So, and USC and Washington have a little ways to go to catch up recruiting wise, but I think it will be something that they will, especially if they keep continuing to do well. And if you end up winning the Natty this year, that could be a big spark because you're going to get a lot of flips if you end up winning it all this year. Someone's going to want to, like I said, if you win it all this year, it's going to mean more in the recruiting side than anything else that you could do. Like Michael Penix Jr. winning the Heisman isn't going to boost recruiting. But if you win the Natty and you beat Texas and you beat Michigan and you win it, then not only you start the rivalry with Michigan a year early, but then you're going to start getting flips and transfers. And then instead of only having X amount of five-star guys, you might end up getting closer to like 6, 7, 8, 9 that might flip and decide to go to your school if you end up winning it all. Big facts. That's what I was kind of hoping for Oregon. Because if Oregon was able to win it all, we would definitely get some people from Georgia or Bama or Michigan or Ohio State that would flip and they would come over. So, especially if they're like a five-star guy and there's already like an NFL player playing in front of them, then they're going to have to sit on the bench for a year or two, like on Georgia or Bama. And if they don't want to do that, then they can just flip, come to Oregon or Washington, and then they start right away, and then they can still have an NFL career and get on the field immediately. It all depends if you want to be a part of the program or if you want to start right now. Shotgun set for Trevor, screen pass. Yeah, but we don't have as many as like Alabama and Georgia. Theirs is insane. You know what I mean? Oregon is getting closer to like the Michigan, Ohio State range, but it took us a while to get there. With Crystal Ball and and with what we have right now with Dan Lanning. But if we didn't have Crystal Ball and Dan Lanning, we wouldn't, be where we're at with recruiting. So that was a part of it too. But I agree. We're definitely going to be the leaders of recruiting in the Pac-12 going into the Big Ten. Besides Michigan and Ohio State, Oregon will have just as many opportunities as those two teams, if not more. First down, Jags. $3 holla. Appreciate you. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $3 holla. Let me know what you want to do for photos. I got you. Crazy as it sounds, I think I could be a part of a staff. Like I said, with the amount of reading and film study and just like the understanding of play calling and concepts and strategies and whatnot. I definitely think that if I was one of those people that could be in that room with the others, I definitely think I could help. You put in the dedication, you put in the time and the effort, you can get the results. All right, I'll talk to you too soon. 3-0 Ravens. I'll be doing my walk after already done two today, but I'll do my third one obviously once we end up having the stream end. So talk soon, Megan. Talk soon. Reflect. All right, 3-0 Ravens. We're in the second quarter. Shotgun set. Trevor Lawrence with a little bootleg. Zay Jones with the catch. Nice 9-yard gain from Zay Jones. Little handoff. There we go. First down, Jags. Move the chains. High ankle sprain in week 13, which is pretty amazing that he's actually playing at this point. Shout out to Trevor. Another handoff, bouncing off a couple tackles. Good tackle by the Ravens. Roquan Smith. 7 more to 20. There we go. Fantasy football is tough, bro. I mean, you can be an expert and still, not come out on top. It's very difficult. But that Chip Kelly, a video that I sent you was probably, you can tell why so many people like LaMichael James and a lot of the Oregon Ducks past players and present players respect Chip. He's a really smart guy. Like I said, he's not a dummy. He's super intelligent, and his breakdown of the college football, playoff and what they should do. But of course, they're never going to do what Chip suggested because they're greedy and they want money. And that's really what it comes down to. But I do like his explanation, and I think that would work perfect. But of course, they'll never listen to Chip Kelly. But that was one of the most creative breakdowns I thought that of how to solve some of these problems. With the how many teams in the playoff and the money and all that. Lawrence and complete. Odin's son in the building. What's good? Well, in all honesty, Odin, you might have to play either one of these. Like I said, you might have to play the Jags to keep moving on, or the Ravens. So, or maybe both. So both of these teams should be on your guys' radar. And if I'm the Dolphins too, I'm watching this game very, very closely because these are two teams that are going to try to get in the way, of what you're trying to accomplish. McManus kick is up, no good. 2 missed field goals by McManus. Oh my. And if you can't make field goals at home, you ain't going to be able to do a whole lot moving forward. Wow. A 50 and a 55. That's brutal. And you're at home. Good thing I don't got McManus. Wow. Somebody needs to get themselves a new kicker. Yeah. And then also you have to worry about the Buffalo Bills because they're the hottest team. I feel better on like the outside looking in. And if the Bills end up making the playoffs, they could upset anybody. The Ravens, the Jags, right? The Dolphins, the Chiefs. I think Buffalo, the way that they've been playing, they'll play good and they'll play bad, but they've been playing better as of late than the beginning of the year. And it feels like they're stringing along a couple more wins than we would have expected at this point of the season. And I never would discount them, at this point, especially the way that they've been playing as of late. I mean, Allen could be playing better, but they've been finding ways to get the job done. Yeah, well, I don't think anyone has anything bad really to say towards the Jags because the Jags haven't really been good enough for rivalries to build for people to get mad at them. I mean, really, the only team that's probably mad at the Jags is the Chargers, but they really have themselves to blame for that loss last year. So it's like obviously the Jags a couple years ago, they almost beat Tom Brady and made it to the Super Bowl. But I don't even think the Jags and the Patriots really had a rivalry either. I mean, you'll have the other teams in the AFC South that the Jags will battle with like the Colts and the Texans and the Titans. But come on, McManus. Oh, you're good, bro. I'm just glad that you're in the room hanging out, brother. Oh, always AFC West banter. Play action fake. Lamar, little check down. First down, Ravens. Move the chains. But Lamar making a Super Bowl would be cool. Whether it's this year, next year, or the following year. He's been progressively, getting to that point where that he's going to get to at least one before his career is up. And the Niners, it's just been, kind of waiting in the wings. Like I said, I knew with McVay and Shanahan like 5 years ago, like I said, they were both going to get, Lombardi sooner than later. McVay got it right away. Shanahan has had to work at it a little bit more. And with the Matt Ryan situation with the Falcons and the Jimmy G situation, now you finally have a better overall team where it looks like it might be the year. But there's still a few teams that'll say otherwise. Lamar, intercepted. Go, baby, go. I'm telling you that Jag defense is the real deal, like the Ravens defense. They're good, man. They might have some issues in the secondary, just like the Eagles do as well. But that front seven, and every once in a while, you'll get something from that secondary too. He was cluing. He was reading the eyes of Lamar Jackson right here. Look at him clue. Jenkins just floating, and then bit right there. I mean, if he would have had a little bit more zip on that football, he would have got there, but you're throwing away from your body. And even when you're Lamar Jackson, sometimes you can't squeeze it in. Nice tackle. Second down and 11, shotgun set. Evan Ingram with the catch. Kay is cute, but I don't like her attitude. She kind of seems fugazi and fake to me. It's like fake smiles, like fake Hollywood, type of person. Like smiling in front of everyone's face, but talking shit behind their back kind of person. You know. And I imagine, she'll have, her own little crew and her family and her own little clique where she's, real in front of them. But, she doesn't come across as genuine to me. But if you're just calling just based off looks alone, yeah. She's pretty. Fourth down, 3-0 Ravens, a defensive battle. Okay, all right. But Colleen Wolf better. Fourth down and 2. Shotgun set. First down, Calvin Ridley. Move the chains. Bang. That was a nice. Kyle Hamilton's like, what the hell happened there? Shotgun set. Handoff. ETN stuffed at the line. Lawrence. Oh, nice catch. But it's nice to have heel AJ Styles, Randy Orton, CM Punk. WWE is starting to get a little bit more interesting, moving forward. And I'm going to be going to Raw with Preston in January. So hopefully we'll be able to see some of those people. And then I'm going to be going to see the Spurs in Wemby here in about a week or two. So that'll be pretty fun. I'm going to Justin. We're going to go to the arcade, maybe Voodoo Donuts, pizza, and then going to the Blazer game, make a little afternoon out of it. So that'll be fun. Third down and 1. Celeb, crush, 0, none. I don't got none. First down and 10. Baltimore 3, Jacksonville 0. Less than 7 minutes to go. Trevor Lawrence. Man in motion. Handoff, ETN. Short gain. Second down and 12. That false start on the Jags. Hopefully we can get those likes up and we can get the sub opportunities up. Obviously, game's a little bit lower scoring than I think anybody anticipated at this point. I mean, but that's what happens when you have good defenses. You know, you don't really have as much scoring. But hopefully, the second half they'll make the adjustments so we can at least get to the 20s. I hope. Second down and 17. Shotgun set. Lawrence. Oh, what happened to my hands? Shotgun set. Third down and 17. Lawrence steps up in the pocket, scrambling, gambling, takes a hit, loses the ball. Picked up by the Ravens. Wow. There you go, hybrid. All right, time to get points now. Wow. And like I said, 2 missed field goals. You've been driving. You can't afford to do that, let alone on the road, but at home. And that's the difference between the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Ravens looking like the Niners of the AFC. Don't think they're as good as the Niners, but if we had an equivalent to the Niners, it is Baltimore. Now let's see if Baltimore can get some points. Toby in the building. What's good? Ducks 4, Devils 1. Well, the Jags should probably be at fucking 13. 2 missed field goals, and then that drive right there could have been at least another field goal, 9-0, or maybe even a touchdown. Playing too sloppy out there, Toby. This is a primetime game to show the whole world that the Jags are for real. Not looking too good so far, brother, but hopefully the second half will be better. How many more likes to 20? 19 fumbles lost, most in the NFL. Not a good look, Toby. Ball security. Trevor Lawrence fumbling the bag. Come on, Trevor. Unbelievable. Especially in a big game like this, to kind of change the narrative of Baltimore as, oh, wow, that could have been a pick. Yeah, like I said, it all started with his, stone hands in the first game of the year. And like I said, he's just not a fit, you know? I'd rather take Juju back in a wheelchair rather than Kadarius Toney. He's terrible. It's like, he's immature, kind of like George Pickens. You get these guys that, they're athletes, you know what I mean? But if you're immature and you only think about yourself, you're only going to get, results, half of the time because they're not trying all the time. They're not focused. Kadarius Toney doesn't seem like a guy to me that's going to be working extra reps with Patrick Mahomes to get better. He'll be a guy that's going to be playing Fortnite and, hanging out with the homies, going to the bar, and it shows on the field, There's just certain pieces that are going to be good fits, and he ain't one of them. He's more of a liability than an asset. Yeah, you an athlete, Odin son. Athlete. 3rd down and 10. Shotgun set. Lamar scrambling, gambling, bootleg, looking downfield, keeping his eyes up. Shaw Bateman, 1st down, Ravens. Move the chains. What are we at for Sarah? Hopefully we can get those up and get the donos up before we end up finishing the game. Lamar with a keeper, RPO. There we go. And I'm finally on the last I'm finally on the last season last episode of Game of Thrones. So now I can finally move on and go to a new show. 93 to go. Lamar, handoff. There we go. Justice Hill, 1st down, Ravens. But 1 episode to go. Season 8, episode 6, and then I can go to a different show. But I've been binge watching Game of Thrones. I mean, it's 8 seasons long, so I've been doing it for about, a week and a half now. So some stuff that I remembered, some stuff that I didn't remember. Less than 3 minutes to go. Two more to 15. There we go. 2nd down and 12. Shotgun set. Lamar, little screen pass. Blockers downfield. Good tackle. All right, we got trips left. 3rd down and 8. Shotgun set. Blitz coming. Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ. First down, Ravens. Move the chains. 2-minute warning. Here we go, Ravens. OBJ is a good fit, especially with Andrews going down with that injury. It definitely gives them another option where you're never going to have Odell be the Odell that he was on the Giants, but if you keep giving him opportunities, there's going to be games where he scores. And if you're really lucky, depending on where they go in the playoffs, he might have a game where he ends up scoring twice, and that could be the difference in the game. Odell is old, but he still has good hands. And, he can still run decent routes for his age and his injuries. Big facts. I see you, OBJ. I need recommendations of a new show to watch. Type below if you're watching the show or just got done watching the show. What is the next show I should watch? Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. What should I watch? That is the question. I see you, Odell. That was a great throw, Hybrid. I'm rooting for you guys, man. I like watching the Jags as well. Like I said, Jags, Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs are a lot of fun to watch in the AFC. And then NFC, Niners, Cowboys, Eagles, Seahawks, Lions. I would say those are probably the main teams that I like watching the most, besides my own Buccaneers. So you found the windbreaker? Nice. Heck yeah. Walter in the building. What's good? 3-0 Ravens. We're at the 2-minute warning. And we'll see if they go back to OBJ or if they end up going to Zay or if they pound the rock. But it feels like they're going to be getting points here before halftime. Let's go, baby. Getting close to halftime. I want to be able to see some highlights, and then I'll try to get some reaction videos out there tomorrow morning and afternoon. And then we'll end up doing the Seahawks and the Eagles tomorrow. We may not have Geno Smith or Jalen Hurts. Geno injured, Jalen with the flu, but hopefully they can battle through, and hopefully they can end up playing, and it'll make the game a hell of a lot more interesting than Marcus Mariota and Drew Lock. But I will be here tomorrow and grinding it out. A little bit hybrid, a little bit. First down and 10. Shotgun set. Lamar. And complete. Got to have a little bit better touch there on that throw. Pass incomplete to Zay. Second down and 10. Shotgun set. Lamar dancing in the pocket. Good protection up front. Run! Go! Lean forward. God, the Ravens got to help him out. Like that Ravens O-line, they need to be able to kind of bear hug him and then throw him forward or push him forward. There's a lot of opportunities there where like Lamar gets to a point where he kind of gets stuck, and then none of the offensive linemen help him out to try to get a few more yards. I mean, I know you don't want to, necessarily kind of bear hug him and then have him twist his knee and injure him, but I mean, help your guy out. Good blocking up front. Let's go. Should have went right instead of left. Got a hell of a lot more yards if he had better vision, but at least his vision is better than Najee Harris, which he has no vision whatsoever. Vikings again. I love that show. That's wild. Look at that. He's dancing around for like 10 seconds. Yeah, not Minnesota Vikings, the show Vikings. We got to get it straight here. Third down and one. That was one of the best shows, on regular TV, FXX and whatnot, History Channel. You get shows like Mayans MC on FXX and History Channel with the Vikings and whatnot. Yeah, I wouldn't mind starting that from the very beginning. Yeah, so I got cable in the living room through Comcast, and then obviously I have like streaming apps and whatnot. So oh gosh, that's crazy. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, I don't really go out of my way to listen to either one. So yeah, that would be a good question. That's a coin flip. I mean, that's something where it's like if I'm hanging out with you and then and then we go together type of thing. I'll let you decide. Is there any team that I would want to play? No, because I don't even want to be in the playoffs. I'd rather get a franchise quarterback in this draft. But if the rest of the NFC South sucks ass so bad, not including the Panthers because they beat the Falcons, but if the Falcons want to give it away, the Panthers aren't good enough, and if we end up having a better record than the Saints, then we're a pretender. We're not a contender. So it really doesn't matter who we play. Realistically, whoever we play, we would probably lose to. But Seahawks, Buccaneers would be good. Buccaneers, Lions to get a rematch after us wearing the creamsicles and losing at home. I wouldn't mind playing them. I think that would be a good matchup. Bucks and Lions or Bucks and Seahawks. Bucks and Cowboys. Bucks and Eagles. Buck. I mean, if I play, the Bucks and Cowboys, Bucks and Eagles, Bucks and Niners, you're probably going to lose those. But if you do Bucks and you know Bucks and Seahawks, Bucks and Lions, you have a shot. You know, never know. These are not the purple weirdos. Oh, baby! First down, Ravens. What a throw. What a catch. Move the chains. Nice catch. That's tough for Charlotte Flair with that post, Sarah. Definitely opens the door for the rest of the females, in WWE. But yeah, terrible for Charlotte Flair. That rehab is going to be really tough. And she's getting older too. Like, how many more years does Charlotte Flair have? Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus, running out of gas. Good stop by Jacksonville. Flag on the play. headbutt dog, and then a flop dog, headbutt and a flop dog. I mean, if you're rich and you have money, and you can do, different types of plastic surgery, or you're just naturally, really, really good looking, and then you have really expensive beauty products. You can get people that, get 50, 60 years old that still look incredible. Halle Berry, looks amazing for her age. There's a few others. Salma Hayek, getting up there in age, still looking great. But again, if you're a millionaire and you have access to all the, high end things, you got like face cream that's like $700. Well, shit, yeah, you're probably going to be looking pretty good. Where everyone else is using $20 face cream and you're using $700 face cream. Touchdown, Ravens. Let's go. Isaiah Likely, baby. When you got millions of dollars, you always have the option for plastic surgery or the best products to take care of yourself or alter yourself. Nice catch. That would have been Mark Andrews fantasy points for me right there. Nice job, Lamar. Extra point is up, and it's good. 10-0 Ravens. All right, Lamar, I see you. Yeah, there is a chance, to see what happens. I mean, the division is up for grabs. Makes you kind of wonder if AR was healthy, what would the record be? Would you have maybe one or two more wins? At that point, it's hard to say, but you would assume that you'd have a little bit more, and the defense has been playing pretty fucking good for the last 5, 6 weeks too. So, and CJ Stroud being injured doesn't help their cause either. But yeah, whoever gets hot here late, they're gonna have a chance. The stud right there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Good return. First down, Jags. Stole that return from the other player, but Jacksonville needs to get on the board. Come on, Jags. I mean, now you've already had 2 missed field goals, so, I mean, you could have had 3 with that Trevor Lawrence fumble, so going long, going deep. Receiver falls down trying to draw the pass interference. It's a no-go. No flag on the play. He was trying to get it, though. Man in motion. Shotgun set. Trevor. Clock running. Hurry up, hurry up. Shotgun set. Lawrence. Sideline. There's the flag. I say they got to get at least something here before halftime, even if it's just 3. But you got to, I guess, line it up not on the left hash or the right hash. It's got to be kind of straight on if you're going to be going for a field goal. I mean, imagine if McManus misses 3 field goals in the first half. Got 93 to go. Hopefully, we'll get a goat to come through and show some love. Like I said, we had 3 really, really low streams, and then I think 7 out of like the last, or 6 out of like maybe the last 8. We've hit over 100, which was good. And then 1 was close to 100, which was like 50 to 75, and the other one was like 20. So still got a ways to go, but I still got some faith. Shotgun set. Lawrence. Get out of bounds. 30 seconds to go. Movement. Flag on the play. Second down and 11. Lawrence going deep. How do you go into halftime with a 0? Clock is running, and you get a 0? Unbelievable. And then you don't even get out of bounds, and then the half is over. Ridiculous. The Jags are terrible. Can't even get a field goal. Can't even get any points. Missed 2 missed field goals and a fumble. I mean, if you want to be able to make it to the AFC Championship game and have that good balance, you can't play like this. Wow. All right, let me know what you guys want to do for photos now since we're at halftime. Let me know, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna go check up on Paisley. Let me know what you guys want to see for photos. Type it in the chat, and then we'll get back into the action in a few minutes. All right, I'm back. Got a chance to check up on Paisley, and she's doing good. Wrapped her up like a burrito. Shaking the building. What's good? Not exactly what you expected, from the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first half. But again, two missed field goals by Brandon McManus, who's typically is pretty reliable. Then you had a red zone opportunity where Trevor Lawrence fumbled, leading the NFL in fumbles by a long shot. That took away 3 points or possibly a touchdown opportunity there. And then obviously with a brain fart and obviously not getting out of bounds in time with that deep throw and ending up at halftime at a zero. I mean, like I said, I don't know if there's anything positive that you can say looking at that first half, but hopefully they can find a way. Definitely thought it was going to be a little bit higher scoring than, even though I knew the defenses were going to be pretty good. But again, you never know in the NFL. Sometimes it ends up being, a very high scoring affair and it surprises everybody. Other times it ends up just being one of those kind of running in mud type of games, which we're getting right now. But, it is what it is. All right, let me know what you guys want to do for photos while we're waiting. And I got you. Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Jags, Browns, Bengals, Colts, and then in the hunt, the Texans, the Buffalo Bills, the Steelers, and the Broncos. It's going to get interesting. Getting closer and closer to the end. What do we got? NBC holiday doubleheader, Bengals and Steelers, Bills and Chargers. I got you. I think I saw your message yesterday, right when we were kind of ending the stream and whatnot. So, all right, second half just right around the corner. Hopefully, we get a few more points. I don't know why that fucking Colt logo always does that. Come on now. No boxes behind the logos. We don't run like that. Let's go, baby. Mustache Minshew. He's bearded now, though. You have a good walk reflect? He didn't really miss a whole lot, and like I said, they had the 2 missed field goals by McManus, then Trevor Lawrence, went down the field, fumbled when they could have got a field goal or a touchdown. Then at the very end of the first half, they went for a long bomb, and they had a receiver fall on the ground and flop to try to get the PI. It didn't get called. Next, couple plays later, they did get a big pass, obviously completed, but the clock was running, no timeouts. Then they threw a little pass towards the sideline. The guy didn't get out of bounds, and they ended up getting nothing at the end of the second quarter. So we should have a 10-3, or a 10-7 game. But again, just one thing after another. When it rains, it pours, and it all started off with McManus with that bad juju. And then 1 missed field goal, 2 missed field goal, a fumble. You can't get out of bounds, and you end up with a 0. And essentially, if everything hits, you could be up 20-10 right now. Or, at the very, very least, you could be up 12-10 if it was all field goals. But execution, very tough. Yeah, chilly. I like it, man. A lot of times I can see my own breath, and I'm going out there early, usually sometime between like 7 and 8 a.m. And then I do another one around lunchtime with Paisley between like noon and 2. And then I do one really late at night, around 9:30 to 10:30 at night. And I usually like the late one the best because nobody, you know, nobody's out there. No dogs, no cats, no humans. It's just me and Paisley out there, which is really nice. Really, really relaxing and good for the soul. Yeah, Fo King has no choice because he took CJ Stroud for me after I dropped him, and he's been using him, for the last few weeks. CJ Stroud is injured, so it definitely helps the cause for you, with the mistakes that you both had. So for Lawrence struggling and ETN struggling, that's good for you. James Cook putting up a 36.1 was surprising, but and also he put up a 0 with Kincaid. How often is Kincaid going to get a fucking 0, bro? So and then Aubrey ended up having a shit game with 4. Should have had closer to Butker and 10. So, some hits, with Kyron Williams, even with those 2 fumbles, some misses, as well with Gibbs and Waddle and Mostert. But, I mean, it's one thing if you would have, sat Waddle and he sat Gibbs, but Mostert probably should have been started. But again, what can you do? You know? Yeah, that was his best game in his career. And like I said, I don't think he knew that was going to happen. I think he just put him in the lineup because he had 4 straight games of 10 or more and just assumed that Cook would get 10 to 15, not, some insane number like 30 plus. So I still think that you have a good chance. I mean, right now you're, still having to make up points. But remember, it's best of 2 weeks. So anything can happen. All right, second half has started. Let's go. Lamar, scrambling, gambling. All right. All right, let me turn this off. I had it through a link, and now I'm going to be more on point here. I forgot I could do it through Peacock as well. You can do it through NBC.com, but you can also do it through Peacock through NBC also, and I totally forgot about that. So I was actually using one of the streaming. I was using one of the streaming links. That's why I was about 15 to 30 seconds behind, but now I'm good. Sometimes I have a brain fart on all the different streaming apps that I have and what I can use. And obviously, I'm going to try to be as live as possible. But sometimes when you use a link, even when you use it through ESPN.com or NBC.com through your cable provider, sometimes you'll still have a 15-second to 30-second delay. But I'm through Peacock through NBC now. So now I should be linked up, not as much behind as I was in the first half. Lamar, second down and 10. Go, baby, go. First down, Ravens. And the main reason that you decided to do it is because of the wind, and you did it based off of the Jets defense being pretty good, and then them like lining up. Did you know that Tyreek wasn't going to play this morning, or did you not know? Because I think that if you were thinking your strategy, but then if you would have noticed that Tyreek was out, then I would have thrown both of those guys in. Because regardless of the weather, if Tyreek is not getting targets, that means Waddle's going to get more, and Mostert's going to be more of a focal point too. But I guess it just depends if you woke up early enough to see Tyreek was not playing. That's why it's so important to be able to look at all the injuries and whatnot. So 93 to go. 10-0 Ravens. And anytime we end up having an NBC broadcast, and if I'm not, as live as I could be, someone needs to remind me with the Peacock because I totally forgot about that. That's one benefit about the Peacock. I only usually use it for WWE pay-per-views once a month, and that's it. I usually don't even use it for anything else. I should have remembered that, but I had a brain fart and I forgot. So, but we should be good now. Was the biggest surprise this weekend the Cowboys losing to the Bills as bad as they did on the road? Did that surprise a lot of y'all after beating the Eagles by 20 at home? But again, the Cowboys are a different team on the road, just like every other team in the NFL, except for like one or two. It's like the only two teams that really play well on the road. It seems like are the Ravens and the Niners. Like you really got to be able to have a quarterback that's on point, coaching staff that's on point, a defense that's legit, one of the best, top five defense, and then you also have to, have that moxie and that good play calling. Most teams are a shell of themselves on the road, but every once in a while, you'll have two or three teams that excel better on the road than you would think. Like if you can have like a 5-1 record at this point on the road, you're doing something good. Oh, you were up early? Oh, okay. Lamar? Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Big sack lunch. There's that Jacksonville defense. You got to be happy though right now. Reflect. I mean, considering what if Trevor and Etienne, combined for 50? Because if they combined for 50 and had like a real amazing game and they end up blowing out the Ravens, right? You might not be able to come back. But I know you still got the third and fourth quarter and they could still put up points. But with all things considered, to be ahead right now, and then depending on what they do, you're going against a tough Raven D. It's not going to be as bad. You might have to make up 10 to 15 and that's or even 20 and that's going to be doable, but if you have to make up 50 you're fucked. So I think at this point you're sitting pretty good. I mean, Jags at 0, they barely have scored anything and there's still a second half where they could light it up, but just the fact that they're going against that Raven D helps you out tremendously. Yeah, I mean, hell, even though I did good, I had Sam Howell and Cairo Santos. So yeah, I ended up scoring the most points, but I still had an 8 and a 6 in my lineup. But obviously everything else was money, 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 except for David Montgomery. That one kind of let me down a little bit. But Laporta and Amon Ra made up for it, right? Mike Evans got back on track, thank God. Rashad White is a fucking beast. And you're not going to have typically all 9 spots hit 10 points or more. It is possible and it happens, but it's kind of more likely 7 or 8 spots hit. You're always going to have like one that gets under 10 or sometimes 2. So, but if you can end up hitting in the high 20s, in some of those other spots, or a 30 or a 40, it'll make up for the lackluster performance of the under 10. So, and I don't even know who Foking is, so I would rather play you in the championship if I get there. You know, I don't think Foking watches the videos on a regular basis, or if they do, I don't see any comments or any type of acknowledgement, in the streams or anything like that. So it might just be kind of like a rando, you know. But hopefully we can end up going against each other in the championship. But I'm still not even looking ahead of with Chief though, because I mean he's got some dogs. Like I said, it's like it makes me nervous when he's got Allen, McCaffrey, and Devontae Adams because, like I said, and then he got the 24 out of Chandler, and he's got Saint D. So it's like he's got 5 spots out of 9. That make me nervous, and I was lucky that D Hop didn't go off today, so that helped me out tremendously as well. He still has Keaton Mitchell playing. Scary Terry put up a 26 on his bench, but he never was going to play him. So, and on top of that, he's had injuries, with Madison and Pacheco and Robinson. So, I guess I'm going to have to figure out if I need to pick up another quarterback or not. And did anyone see? I know Sarah, you messaged and whatnot, but I wasn't watching all of the Washington game. What happened to Sam Howell when he got hurt? Was it arm? Was it leg? Was it concussion? What happened? And is he going to be out next week, or what's the deal with Sam Howell? Am I going to be able to possibly use him, or am I just going to have to ride it out with Patrick Mahomes the rest of the year? Shotgun set, hand off to ETN. Good tackle. You're screwed because Miami plays Dallas and Baltimore next. Yeah, I can't even use Miami defense anymore. Like, I don't know if I'm going to roster them anymore. Like, I just used them for like the last month, 4 or 5 weeks. And then that's why I had the Jets team, because I have to make sure, that I cover my bases. So it looks like he was just benched. He wasn't injured. That's what it says on my Sam Howell update. He was benched. He didn't get hurt. And they brought Jacoby Brissett in. There we go. First down, Jags. That makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah, it's like I mean, it wouldn't really be smart to play against those defenses. Dolphins got Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo. But the thing is I think you can still put up points on Dallas. Right, Miami's going to be playing at home at Dallas, at home versus Buffalo, and then on the road at Baltimore. That one will be tougher. But I still think with studs that you have, as long as you have Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert, you don't have Tyreek, but I'm just saying in general, you can roll with those guys regardless of what the defense is. Because if they play bad, what are they going to put up? 10? If they play good or better than expected, then they might put up 15 to 40. So it's like you still have talent, and it depends on who you have on your bench if you think you can get better results. But, when you have guys like Mahomes and Kelsey and Waddle and Mostert and Tyreek, yeah, they're going to have tough matchups. You know what I mean? And if your bench guys have a better matchup, go there, but sometimes when the player is so fucking good, or if Tyreek is injured, that they're going to go heavy with Mostert and Waddle, and they definitely, showed out today. Oh, he's open. Go, baby, go. The 10, the 5, touchdown, Jaguars. Jamal Agnew, baby. Yeah, that will be crazy though, because then if you do decide to be like, okay, I'm going to put in Mostert and Waddle because they went off, and then that would be the week that Brees Hall and Saquon go for 25 each. It is really brutal, man. Like you really have to, go with your gut, but you do have to read. You have to follow the injury report, and then just have to hope for the best. And that's why sometimes when you have too many players at a position, it will screw you. Kick us up, barely good. It's like Sarah with quarterbacks. Every time she gets a quarterback and decides to play them, right? She's like, oh, fuck this guy, right? And then get someone else. Then the person that she had that she thought was going to do shitty ends up doing better than who she had in the lineup. It's been like that the whole year. I mean, she's had injuries, you know what I mean? But then she got picked up Jake Browning and was like, oh, Jared Goff has been sucking ass, right? And then Jared Goff ends up on her bench with a 31. So she'll tell you, it seems like every single week you try to, improve where you're at. And then you end up having a stinker at quarterback, and then you end up getting someone better. And then that guy that's been stinking it up, like Goff. And then all of a sudden you get Browning. And you're like, okay, I'm going to have Browning. And Browning did good for you. But then you look at your bench and you're like, oh, God, Goff went off for 31. I mean, I don't think it's really going to matter because, you're still going to win against a Megan. But still, leaving points on the bench, it's tough. And that's happened to Sarah like 3-4 times this year, like replacing one guy for another and then getting screwed by having a higher point total on the bench. But again, sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's matchup, and sometimes, you don't even have any words to explain it. So yeah, I gotta look ahead here. Next week, Sam Howell plays the Jets. Mahomes plays the Raiders. Raiders, both red matchups. So at the Jets too. Mahomes is at home versus the Raiders. So I'll probably go with Mahomes. And then in the championship round, Hal has the Niners, and I have 8 red out of 9. That sucks. If I play Reflect or Poking. And then Mahomes has got the Bengals green matchup. So I'm probably just going to run with Mahomes the rest of the year and just say fuck it. And then the last week, Hal has Dallas, so I wouldn't play him there anyways. And then Mahomes has got the Chargers at the end of the year. So I guess I'm just rolling with Mahomes the rest of the year, and I'll take my 13 to 19 points, and hopefully it's closer to 20 than closer to 10. So yeah. Mostert got like 20 tutties though, bro. Mostert got more tutties or the same amount of tutties as like 6 NFL teams. So, I mean, Achane there, regardless. Mostert, like I said, it's kind of like the same situation that I'm in with Montgomery and Gibbs. So if they go heavy with Achane and Gibbs, we get screwed a little bit. But there should still be enough meat on the bone. There should still be enough meat on the bone for Mostert and Montgomery. And Mostert, and Montgomery, can get 10 to 30 points. It just depends on when they decide to give them the ball. Similar situation that we're both in. 10-7 Ravens. Got a good game now, finally. And it really does matter home or away. You have to pay attention to that too, depending on how good the player has been doing. And a lot of times what I'll do is when I look at my elite players, I'll look at the beginning of the season and look at each matchup, and I'll see how they do at home and on the road. Like Sam Laporta plays really, really good at home, but not as good on the road. He's had like 1 or 2 matchups on the road where he's hit 10 points or more. But if you actually look at him at home, he's more of a focal point at home. But I don't have the opportunity to flip flop between him and Mark Andrews now because Mark Andrews is out for the year. But those are the type of things that I look for when we get into December, as well as getting into the playoffs. So, Yeah, it hasn't been a very good year as far as good luck for you, Sarah, in the fantasy, but at least Browning is balling out. He's been fantastic. Come on, Lamar. The NFL has been tracking quarterback starts since the 1950 season. Just one quarterback in that time since 1950 has 1,000+ passing yards and completed 75% of his passes in his first four starts. You know who it is? One quarterback since 1950. 1,000+ passing yards and completed 75% of his passes in his first four starts. That quarterback is Jake Browning. Go Huskies. That's my knowledge drop for the day for you. Isn't that amazing, bro? 1,000+, right? And 75% completion percentage above that in the four starts. Jake fucking Browning, not CJ Stroud. Go Dogs. Represent Pac 12, baby. Maybe that's a little bit of a sign of things to come for Michael Penix Jr. and the Huskies. I don't know, man. Sometimes the writing is on the wall. You just have to recognize the signs. There's signs everywhere. There's certain things that get presented to you, and it's either you notice them or you don't. So, but I'm always going to knowledge drop for you guys, and I'm always going to give you those extra stats and those extra things that I read or when I watch film. Shotgun set. Keeper with Lamar. Get down, Lamar. Oh yeah, as soon as he ended up getting his big dub over the Vikings, he slammed his helmet down and he said, "You should have never fucking cut me," to the Vikings, and whatnot, and that became kind of like a meme or a gif or a gif or whatnot because the Vikings cut him, right? And so obviously personal to him, right? And then they ended up doing a steroid test, a PED steroid test to him this morning. So anytime someone does good, of course, they have to think the first thing is cheating. It can't just be, oh, the guy is a good player stepping in. So, yeah, lack the arm strength, but accurate. But it also helps being on the Bengals with Mixon. Jamar Chase got hurt. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. So it's like they have pieces. The Bengals have a squad. It's just a matter of if you can, step in. It's almost like a San Francisco 49ers situation. The quarterback gets hurt, you get someone to fill in, you already got everything there. O-line could be a little bit better for the Bengals. It's not as good as the Niners, but as far as running back and wide receivers, tight end could be better as well, but still, with that being said, it's one of the better spots for a backup quarterback to fill in and could succeed right away. But also, a lot of it is Jake Browning, making Jake Browning throws and being confident and having the confidence of his teammates, whether it was maybe not everyone right away, but after that second, third, game, they were like, ooh, maybe this guy isn't that much of a drop off to Joe Burrow. He's proving it, man. Go Dogs. 4th down and 7. Ravens going for it. Yeah, delay a game. Try to get him to go off sides there. And on top of that, the Bengals have 5 drops on top of that. So his completion percentage would have been closer to like almost 80 if the players didn't drop some of the easy ones that and they were like pretty good throws. So, your boy always deep dives in all the stats and whatnot. So 10-7 Ravens. Yeah. And I assume the drops were in the 4 games, so averaging about a drop a game or 2 drops and then, 2 drops, a drop, a drop, a drop, or something of that nature. I'll have to go back and look to see like which, but I assume about a drop a game average, with the 4 games, one, there was 2, I would assume, something like that. But so his completion percentage could have been even a little bit higher, 75 to maybe 77 or 80 or 79, but still, he's still doing things that we haven't seen before. So whether that means, he gets an opportunity to start for a shitty team at some point, or if there's an injury that he can fill in and he could be considered, the best backup in the NFL or one of the top 3 backups in the NFL. He seems like he's like a top 5 backup, but it seems like also that he could be like Gardner Minshew, where he might be able to start for only a couple teams, but still he could, start for like 5 teams, if they needed him to. So, but of course, it's going to be more sexy going for a rookie QB like a Quinn Ewers, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. But again, you put him on a different team that doesn't have as much supporting cast. Does he do as well? Probably not. It definitely helps with those Bengals players, but still, we have to give the dog some credit, that he's actually doing better than people thought. Yeah. I was gonna message you this morning to see if you were gonna wait it out and play Hurts, or if you were just gonna be smart and just be like, fuck it, I guess I'll, go Purdy and then at least get some kind of points. So because imagine if you decided to roll the dice with Jalen, and all of a sudden they say that he doesn't play. That would have been really, especially in the playoffs. It's like too much of a risk. And Purdy hit you with 25, so it's exactly what you would have gotten out of Hurts anyways. Maybe even less than what Hurts would have gotten, or maybe a little bit more than what he would have gotten. You don't know, right? I mean, if Purdy would have put up a 10 for you, you would have been like, shit, I fucked up, right? But then him putting up a 25 makes you feel perfectly fine. Because I mean, Jalen, sometimes is going to put up, 20 to 30, and other times he'll put up, 8 to 10. So sometimes you just got to roll the dice. But we might have a Marcus Mariota Drew Lock game tomorrow. I hope not. Hopefully it's Jalen and Geno. Yeah, Chase might be out for the rest of the year. They're going to do some more examinations on the X-rays and MRIs and whatnot. Cornell in the building. What's good? 10-7 Ravens. Low scoring game. Lots of mistakes from the Jags, but they're still in striking distance to win this game. Less than 3 minutes to go. 3rd down and 3. Shotgun set for Trevor Lawrence. Oh, false start. Come on, Jags. All right, baby. Let's go. 3rd down and 8. Got a few more likes to get to 20. Still got a ways to go for the dono train to get to the number, but we still got a quarter and a few minutes to go. 3rd down and 8. Shotgun set. Lawrence, pressure up the middle. Uh-oh. 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. That's incomplete. Ravens defense on 3rd down is so dangerous. Like, they're bringing the blitz on 3rd down every 3rd down. Like, watch the tape. It's like the Niners. They do the same thing. It's like, what do you think? They're just not going to run the blitz on 3rd down? Of course they are. They're going to bring guys on the edge and up in the middle. Like, if you got, 5-6 seconds, on first down and 2nd down, 3rd down, you're going to have like a second. Better get rid of it quick. You're not going to have that same amount of time. It was, like kind of sometimes top 10 and around middle of the pack. But when they got Roquan Smith, that's when the defense changed. The defense turned into like a Ray Lewis defense with Roquan Smith there. It's like when you have, elite players like that and they take on the personality of the head coach, the defensive coordinator, or a superstar. And obviously, this team is a Roquan Smith led team, and you can feel it and you can see it. Jags with the punt in their own end zone. But that's really the main difference. The Bears were stupid to let go, Khalil Mack. They were stupid to get rid of Roquan Smith. And once you get rid of guys that are like that, you're not going to be able to replace them. It's not going to happen. And obviously, the Baltimore Ravens were like, okay, I'll scoop him up. And it's a better fit for him there, anyways. He was underappreciated and unloved there. And then now he gets to join a team with a bunch of other studs, and he really can make his presence known. But it's like a modern day, Ray Lewis. Is he as good as Ray Lewis? No, but Roquan Smith is damn good, and depending on what happens with his career, if he ends up winning a Super Bowl, Roquan Smith could end up being a Hall of Famer. So and you already know I like defensive players the most. So before the number change and after the number change, I like it. I mean, how many linebackers are going to have zero? Pretty sweet. But if Roquan Smith isn't on the Ravens, we're not talking about the Ravens today. Mitchell, nice little cutback. Look at the speed. Bouncing it to the outside. Get him! First down, Ravens. Move the chains. I'm going against him in fantasy, so that's why I had to hit you with the get him. Can't have him going crazy. What am I up by right now? 152 to 144. He's projected to get to 147, so we'll see. Hopefully he doesn't score. Oh, man. Could you imagine? Roquan, like Bobby Wagner and Roquan together? What could have been? I thought he was uber talented at college, and so I knew if he just got on the right team, and obviously being on the Bears, you're not going to accomplish anything. But to go to the Ravens was legitimately like the best scenario for him. He's built like a Raven player. Like when you saw like Haloti Ngata, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, it made sense. And Roquan Smith is a perfect fit. Second down and 6. This game could go either way. I mean, do the Jags deserve a win? No. But you never know. Lamar? Wow, what a catch. Isaiah Likely, 1-on-2, doing his best Mark Andrews impersonation. First down, Ravens. That was sweet. Unreal. Lamar got lucky there. Gus Edwards. End of the third quarter. All right, Isaiah Likely, I see you. You've actually done a pretty good job in the Mark Andrews absence. Nowhere near Mark Andrews, but it's still good enough to score a touchdown almost every week if Lamar gives him opportunities. Yeah, that's a good one. Didn't seem likely. I see you, Isaiah. I see you reflect. Damn, Mitchell got 9.5. And you're at, 116 to 109. So that's not too bad, bro. I mean, with all things considered, ETN only had a 6.7. Shit, there's some games ETN has thrown up, 20s or 35, 21, 17, 10, 36, 23, 22, 25. But in the last 6 weeks, not as good. 6.4, 8.9, 12.6, 17.9, 17.2, and then 6.7 right now. So I guess he's a third ranked running back, but putting up less numbers. And Trevor, 2, 32, 24, 25, 17, and 11. So far so good for you. Reflect with a 3-er, 90 to go. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. Yeah, Rice balled out. We got Williams and Purdy. And like I said, imagine if Rice only put up 10 and Purdy put up 10. Then you would be really screwed for week 2 unless you have like a 180-point week, which is possible. But, with all these injuries and these backup quarterbacks and really good players having hard matchups, it's tough. All right, we're in the fourth quarter now. Gus Edwards, touchdown, Ravens. Thank God that wasn't Keaton Mitchell. Fuck my life. There we go. Gus the bus. Justin Tucker, Hall of Famer, extra point is up, and it's good. 17-7, Ravens. Let me know what you want to do for photos. I got you, bro. Well, the Ravens are probably the best team in the AFC. So, like the Niners are the best team in the NFC. So if you have two missed field goals, a fumble, and then you can't even get any points in the first half, you don't really deserve to win. You know what I mean? Like, of course, this was a game that if you would have executed, you could have stole possibly from Baltimore. But if you can't get any points in the first half, that's on you. That's on the Jags. That's on the coaching staff. That's on Trevor. That's on ETN. That's on the defense. $3 holla. Appreciate you. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom. Bang, bang. $3 holla. 13.87 to go. Appreciate you. A three-year and a three-year. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right, let's see if the Jags can find a way to score, get a turnover, score again, and then maybe we can end up going to overtime. But it's going to take a hell of an effort here in this fourth quarter, and I don't know if I see it. It's like, the Jags are good and bad. The Chiefs are good and bad, right? Right? The Dolphins are good and bad. But the Ravens, I feel like, they haven't had as many bad, just like the Niners. There's still going to be losses, but they're definitely, if you're looking at pecking order, it definitely feels like the Ravens and the Niners are the team to beat in each division, which is really surprising because they don't even have Mark Andrews and it doesn't even matter. You would think that the other teams would be able to catch up to Baltimore, but the difference is Roquan Smith and that defense has filled the gap of not having Mark Andrews, and Lamar can still go to Isaiah Likely and score a touchdown or two here and there. Most of the time, if you lose the number 2 tight end in football, you're going to be screwed. But OBJ, Zay, Isaiah Likely, 3 different running backs, Justice Hill, Gus the Bucks, Keaton. You got plenty of guys there. So most teams would be derailed a little bit losing a Hall of Fame tight end like Mark Andrews, but they're finding a way, and it also helps they have an amazing defense. Lawrence? Well, I think Doug Peterson is a good coach. But last time I checked, he's not playing quarterback, offensive line, running back, and defense. It's not all him. I mean, this is really on, Brandon McManus and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, last time I checked, Dougie P ain't kicking and he ain't playing quarterback for him. You can only do so much from the sideline. 3rd down and 2, and you're going against the best team in the AFC. What do you expect? Even you're at home, but just because you're at home doesn't mean you're going to automatically win. It's like with the Niners. If you're playing the Niners and you're the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Seahawks or the Lions, yeah, you got a shot, but you better make sure that they're not hurt. And if they're full strength, you're probably fucked. Like the only way to be able to beat up on the top teams is if they have injuries. If they have injuries, like when the Niners went on their 3-game skid, every once in a while you'll have a fluke game like, when the Browns beat them, but once they become healthy, it can be very difficult to beat. And even with the Ravens, they're not fully healthy. They just have more depth than the other teams. AFC South is pretty crazy, but I don't know if any of the teams could actually win a game in the playoffs, though. I mean, you would assume the Jags would be the team most likely to win a playoff game, depending on who they matched up against. But I mean, you got so many teams in the North and the South. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, what happens if the Browns start winning games with fucking Joe Flacco? You know what I mean? Like he's been playing pretty good. So I mean, anything is possible. But there's a lot of like mid and kind of like teams in the AFC. NFC's got like the Bucks and the Saints aren't contenders. They're pretenders. And even with the Lions and the Seahawks, if they can't get healthy, then they're only going to be able to go so far. Christian Kirk, yeah. Yeah, but if you're going against the number one defense, what kind of fucking adjustments are you making? You tell me. What adjustments are you making when you're going against the number one D? That's like going against the San Francisco 49ers. What do? You know what I mean? You got Chase, you got Bosa, you got Fred Warner. Yeah, you can make adjustments and you can make the best play calls, but if you're not winning the line of scrimmage, you ain't doing shit. You got to win the O line, the D line, the defense, the coaching, and the play calling. So, regardless of what adjustments are made, sometimes you just don't have the personnel to match up. Facts. $2 holla. Let's go. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $2 holla. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. 85 to go. Saints are Super Bowl bound. Yeah, you got to have a dream. You got to get past my Bucks first. I mean, shit. If you want to go to the playoffs, I'll definitely take third place. But the Falcons can't even beat the goddamn Panthers. So looks like it'll be first place or second place for the Bucks in the NFC South. But I'm not sure if the Bucks or the Saints could actually beat anybody. I guess it just depends on who they match up against. Uh-oh. He got hurt. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Buckle dog. That's not good. Uh-oh. Another player for Chief. That splash explosive guy. And those hip drag, tackles and those tackles that they make. I mean, like I said, that will probably get banned, going into next year. Tush push probably not, but those hip drag tackles, and that didn't look good. Hopefully he'll end up being okay. Let's get some Jake Browning photos up for you, bro. I got you. All right, Browning. Yeah, I don't think you were in here before when I was bringing up that stat, which is really crazy. But the NFL has been tracking quarterback starts since the 1950 season. Just one quarterback since 1950 in that time has had 1,000 plus passing yards and completed over 75% of his passes in his first four starts, and that is Jake Browning. Keaton Mitchell leg looked like it fucking exploded. Not a good look if you have him in fantasy. Ravens. Luckily, they've had an injury curse at that running back position as well. J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, and now you got Keaton Mitchell. At least they have Justice Hill and Gus the Bus, but it just seems like every year you're going to have running backs that get hurt. So, yeah. Since 1950, they've been tracking quarterback stats, right? And he over 75% completion percentage and over 1,000 yards. Only one quarterback, Jake Browning. So, and original guess from Reflect was C.J. Stroud, which would have been, but it's first four starts, and C.J. kind of started slow and then got, a little bit hotter as the year, went on and whatnot. But pretty crazy. And I had CJ Stroud early, and then I had to drop him because I had to make room. But 10, 21, 20, 21, and then 14, 14, 12. Then he went off for 41, 19, 15, 30, 16, and then 3, and then obviously got hurt. So, but CJ's had a great year. QB sneak, 3rd and inches, first down, Ravens. Another flag. Handoff. Bouncing it to the outside. Justice Hill, baby. First down, Ravens. A Wizinator? Yeah. That would be terrible if they ended up, saying that he ended up being on steroids and that's why he did so good. But again, if you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, and if the offensive line actually does their job, yeah, I mean, you're going to have opportunities there, but you have to give Browning credit too. There's some throws, kind of like a Brock Purdy situation. People want to hate and hate and hate. And sometimes you have to realize that, yeah, they may not be, like a Joe Burrow type of guy, but they can still end up making plays and being better than people think. I mean, still the narrative about Brock Purdy not being very good is ridiculous. Like if he ended up going to the Browns, is his stats as good or like the Jets? No, but he still makes NFL throws that make you scratch your head and like, wow, like you actually can make the throws. So instead of putting up 25 points in fantasy for the Niners, Brock Purdy, he might still be able to put up like 18 with the Browns or the Jets, like a little bit less, but still good. And I think a lot of people think that, oh, he just is a product of the system. He goes to the Jets, he's putting up 10 fantasy points. Bullshit. You haven't been watching the Niners or watching the games. Some of it is based off the players, but it's also sometimes Brock Purdy and some of these guys like Browning are actually making the plays themselves. Let's go. Ravens about to fucking nail in the coffin here. But again, the haters are always going to hate. The haters were always going to, say, oh, it's just you're a product of the system. You're just a system quarterback. You're just a game manager. It's just the coaching and the supporting cast. It's not you. Yeah, you can say that to a certain degree, sometimes, but also when you have those big 3rd downs and those big touchdown throws, like what are you going to say about those? That was just luck. There's going to be some skill involved too. Stanley, a little shaken up. Well, you already knew the game was over after the missed field goals. You just have to look at the way that the game is being played. Once the field goals get missed, that sets the attitude and the tone of the game. 2 mistakes leads to another mistake. A fumble by Lawrence leads to another mistake by not getting out of bounds and getting 0. Sometimes it's bad luck. Sometimes it's lack of discipline. Sometimes it's you're playing the number 1 team in the AFC. Baltimore Ravens. Are the Baltimore Ravens the new Kansas City Chiefs? They look like it. Of course, for LSU with the raspy voice. Yes. So I always like looking at the O line and the D line and the defense. I don't just look at the where the ball is. I think 99% of the people that watch football, that's where their eyes go. Center, hike the ball, quarterback, you follow the quarterback, and then if the running back has the ball, you follow him. Then you're looking for the wide receivers and tight ends when he's about to throw the ball. But if you actually take the time to watch the O line and watch the defense, you can learn a hell of a lot more about football if you watch it that way. Bootleg. Lamar plants his foot, avoids the sack lunch, and not that one. 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. I'm the real Coach O. Got to be careful, though, that, like once you get your cleat stuck in that artificial turf or that grass, Lamar dancing and romancing out there, that's going to lead to an ACL, MCL, PCL if he's not careful. Sometimes when he dances and does those 360s and those spin moves, you get hit wrong. Your knee is toast. Lamar, and complete. Shad Bateman, the intended receiver. Reflect with a fiver, doing a dono train by himself. I appreciate that very much. Who is a sports god? Reflect is. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang, $5 holla, my boy. I appreciate you. Usually one dono leads to another, but I appreciate you, even if you have to do it by yourself. Thank you, man. Like I said, I'm going to have to order this powder for teeth cleaning for Paisley, and a tub of it costs like $45. It only lasts like a month, so I'm not going to be able to afford it every month. But obviously working extra hard so I can take care of her is a priority. Field goal is up and it's good. 80 to go. I appreciate your support and your commitment. Means a lot. That guy's kind of good, huh? Reflect with the tour. If we could have more people be like Reflect, where would we be, huh? Appreciate you, brother. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Ooh. Holla, holla. Appreciate you, brother. 22. 78 to go. Gang, gang. All right, down by 13. Time is running out. I hope you do. Like I said, I know no one else thinks it can happen, but I really, if it was like my choice, like I said, Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. did not get the Heisman. They don't have to worry about that curse, on their back, the pressure of having to live up to be a Heisman NFL player and panning out and not being a bust. So I think that's really good for both of them. And, I think you can, put up as many points as Texas can, and hopefully your defense can play slightly better. And then you're going to have to play the game of your fucking life against Bama or Michigan. But I think as long as Michael Penix Jr. has time, why not? I think it would be amazing for the Pac-12, and it'll be your first championship since 1991. And it won't be a split championship with Miami. It'll be yours. I mean, if that can all work out, like if I have like my choice with the sports gods, it's like, okay, Washington beats Texas, Washington beats Michigan, Michael Penix Jr. Ends up winning the championship in the Natty, and then Michael Penix Jr. goes to Tampa. So if that all ends up happening, then obviously I'm a time traveler. I'm like Back to the Future. I got the sports almanac going long, going deep, out of bounds. But wouldn't that be wild? Sports gods just hang on every word that I say. They're like, oh, that does sound good. Okay. Michael Penix Jr. out duels Quinn Ewers, no problem. Boom, moves on against Bama or Michigan. Michigan beats J.J. McCarthy, then ends up getting drafted in, first round, like 15th pick or whatever, 20th pick. Boom, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then I get my quarterback for the next 10 years, 12 years straight. I don't got to worry about drafting. I don't got to worry about Baker. I don't got to worry about Kyle Trask. Mike Evans re-signs with Tampa, and then I get Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Michael Penix Jr. Mike to Mike. Can I get that, please? Trevor? Incomplete. Lawrence looks like shit out there. I mean, they listen to me. I don't know how often they listen to me, but they listen to me pretty often, more than anybody else that I know. I don't know what my sports gods percentage is. What, 80%? Sometimes 90%? So we all want to be like Mike, man. I'd literally lose my mind if Michael Penix Jr. ended up winning the Natty, getting drafted by Tampa, and then Mike Evans resigns also. I don't know what I would do. I would lose my mind. That would make football so enjoyable for me for the next 10 to 12 years. Oh, fumble. He coughed it up. And the Ravens recover. And that's why the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. Better than the Dolphins, better than the Chiefs, better than the Jags. And like I said, if this game was at home, you can be like, oh, Baltimore can only do it at home. With this win, I believe they're going to be 6-1 on the road. Pretty good. Pretty good. – 5-2 at home, about to be 6-1 on the road. Is that good? Let me know. Yes, it is. '49ers record, 5-1 at home, 6-2 on the road. Same thing. Shows you if you can have that type of balance and you can be just as good or better on the road, you are Super Bowl caliber legit. You know what I mean? A lot of teams are going to be like 500 on the road or below 500. 3-3, 2-4. But when you can end up being 5-1, 6-1, and you're just as good on the road than at home, you're built different. Facts. One day, bro. One day. You just got to build the pieces. It doesn't get built overnight. It takes time to build it. It's like with the Legion of Boom. That shit didn't, it didn't get built overnight. It took 3-4 years to build that. And you may never see a more entertaining secondary than that. All heavy hitters, all of them could pick off the football. They had great chemistry and continuity. They all believed in each other. They all rooted for each other. No jealousy, no envy. Just like everyone wanting to win as a unit. That's very rare nowadays in college and the NFL. Yeah, but like I said, Toby, 2 missed field goals, a fumble by Trevor. He's got the most fumbles in the NFL. You got to clean that up. If you don't clean that up, you just can't rely on ETN, getting you 40 points in fantasy every week, and that's going to be the guy that carries the game. Trevor needs to be better. The O-line needs to be better. McManus needs to be better. Defense is still pretty good. You're holding Baltimore to only 20, but the Jags are still a top 4 team in the AFC. But it definitely shows you're not on the same level as Baltimore. You're good, and like I said, just like the Dolphins, but and like the Chiefs, but the Ravens are better than the other 3. You know, maybe one day the Jags will be the number 1 team in the AFC, but you have to be at least happy that you're not the worst team in football for 2 years in a row, and you look like you have a chance to make the playoffs. But the Colts and the Texans are nipping at your heels. So as long as you don't go on a downward dive, you'll be in the playoffs. Otherwise, the Colts are going to take it from you. But we'll see. We will see. Yeah, but you can't use that excuse either. The Ravens aren't healthy either. They don't have Mark Andrews. You don't hear them bitching and complaining. He's the best tight end in the world besides Travis Kelce. And they should be dropping off and closer to the Jags, closer, to the Dolphins, closer to the Chiefs, where they struggle on offense. But the OBJ and the Zay, and having all these other options, and then they just lost Keaton Mitchell, and obviously it looks like he might be done for the year, but you don't hear them bitching and complaining, right? It's next man up. Isaiah Likely. Is he Mark Andrews? No, but he can still score touchdowns if he gets opportunities. So everyone is hurt at this point. The Rams, yeah. Sean McVay, man, like I keep telling people, Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, to me, are the 2 most intelligent coaches with play calling and exposing weaknesses, with teams. And like I said, years ago, right when they first, got them, I was like, both of these guys are going to win Super Bowls within the next 10 years, maybe even multiple, for Kyle, not for necessarily McVay, for Sean. But he did what he had to do, and McVay is a very, very good coach. That's why, like, the Rams roster can be young, the Rams roster can be injured, but they never give up. The Sean McVay gets that team coached up every single week, and sometimes they'll just play a team that's much better and they'll lose. But there's going to be games that they're going to steal that are, they play teams that are better than them, but then they outcoach the other coach with Sean McVay and they steal some wins too. So that's a good question. Well, the way that the Bucks are playing, who knows what's going to happen there? The Bucks could beat the Jags. You would assume the Jags would beat the Panthers, and then the Titans would be kind of like a trap game. You know what I mean? But it just depends on what Buck game you get. You get the Bucks like today, you're losing. But if you get the Bucks, in previous weeks, maybe you win. So the Bucks are like a Jekyll and Hyde. We can play good against the Falcons and we can play good against the Packers on the road. But there's going to be games where we play at home where we look like shit, and we play games on the road where we look like shit. So it'll be very, very interesting here late. I mean, most Jags fans look at Bucks, Panthers, Titans, think they're going to go 3-0, but you might only go 1-2. And if you go 1-2 and you lose to the Bucks and the Titans, maybe a team like the Texans or the Colts, if they go and win out, they might take the spot. So we'll see. 8-3. Now you're 8-6, 3-game losing streak, and it might be 4 when you play the Bucks. I was going to say, you jumped the gun. And I feel like the Jags, they rely too heavy on ETN. And once they shut ETN down, they don't have a rhythm in their offense like they did when they were on their winning streak. It's like you have to make sure everyone is getting involved. The passing game needs to be utilized, right? ETN is a luxury that you have, but you can't rely on him to do everything for you. Almost injured Trevor Lawrence there. But again, those two missed field goals set the tone. And if you would have made those, maybe the Trevor Lawrence fumble doesn't happen. Incomplete. And it also shows you, too, Trevor has got a ways to go before he's considered a top 10 quarterback because he's not a top 10 quarterback yet. He's close. Like, I think a lot of people would say he's like 11 to 15. You know what I mean? But until he gets better consistency, I'm not sure if you can label him a top 10 quarterback. Does he play like a top 10 quarterback sometimes throughout the year? Yes, but he doesn't play like a top 10 throughout every game. And once he gets to that point, that's when the Jags are going to elevate. Offensive line could be a little bit better too. Shotgun set. Lawrence. Like right there. Those throws are shitty, man. Those throws are, he does too many underthrows and overthrows. It's like you got talent at wide receiver, tight end, and running back, but you need to make sure that that ball gets there. I mean, you're the number one pick in the draft. You're not some fucking scrub, you know? But I'm glad that the Jags are playing well for you, Toby. I mean, 2 bad years, and then now you've already turned it around. But it takes time to build a Super Bowl contender. It's one thing to make the playoffs. It's one thing to win the AFC South, but then it's another thing to be able to win more than one playoff game. You did it last year against the Chargers, but hell, anyone can beat the Chargers. Their defense stinks. I give you credit for last year. That was awesome. But this year, even though the Chiefs and the Bills aren't as good as traditionally speaking, there still needs to be some drastic improvements with the Jags as we get here into late December. But are the Jags a team that could win a playoff game or two? Yeah. Could they upset someone? Yeah. But also, too, the Jags could play a team like Buffalo and lose. Like you play a team like that where everyone thinks that the Jags are going to win, and then all of a sudden Buffalo and Josh Allen get hot, and that defense actually shows up like they have been the last few weeks. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to play Buffalo. That's one team in the AFC I would not want to see. Shotgun set. First down and 10, Lawrence. And complete. Trying to thread the needle there. Yeah. CJ's got good chemistry, though. He's a better thrower of the football than Trevor Lawrence is. He's more smooth. When you look at Trevor Lawrence, sometimes it looks robotic, with his like throwing motion, and his accuracy isn't that good. With CJ Stroud, sometimes when you watch him play, he looks like an 8-year vet. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected, he's got a better spiral, and it seems like he throws the football with a little bit more effortlessly. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking Trevor like he's a bad player. He's still like a top 12 quarterback. But if I had to choose between CJ and Trevor, I'm going CJ. CJ's got more natural talent to me. Like it just seems like his ceiling is higher than Trevor. Like CJ's just getting started. We've seen Trevor for the last few years, and I'm not saying that Trevor has hit his ceiling, but I don't know how much better that you're really going to get out of Trevor Lawrence. Like, is he ever going to be considered top 5 quarterback? No. Will he be considered top 10 once he gets better? Yes. But I don't think Trevor is ever going to be considered a top 5 quarterback ever in his career. That's not me being a hater. That's just me being honest. I just think that he's going to kind of cap out. I don't think he'll ever be a top 5 quarterback. Will he be 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, it's possible. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just don't see it. Yeah, but with Nico and with the weapons that they have, he's got better chemistry with his receivers. And it's too early to say if CJ Stroud will ever be a top 5 quarterback. You know what I mean? But if he can stay healthy and they can keep building that roster, I think there's a better chance that CJ Stroud is a top 5 down the road than Trevor. Trevor can be top 10, but CJ has potential to be top 5. Oh, incomplete. And also, I like CJ Stroud better going through the audibles and the progressions. First option, second option, third option. It doesn't look as robotic. Like when I watch Trevor Lawrence, he reminds me of like a Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, where he's kind of a bigger body, bigger shoulders, and it's kind of a robotic motion. With CJ Stroud, it's a little bit more fluid and smooth, and there's a little bit more swagger there and confidence. And CJ's a rookie. That's the difference. Flag on the play. And I also feel like Trevor needs more weapons around him to succeed. CJ doesn't. I feel like CJ is that natural talent. Throwing motion is big. Audibles are big. You know, you have to be able to go through all the mechanics. And, you know, certain guys have better mechanics than others. Not saying that Phillip Rivers was bad or Ben Roethlisberger was bad, but if I had to choose between like Brady mechanics or Peyton Manning mechanics or, you know, going with those guys can still get it done, but it's going to be a little bit harder for them and they're going to need a little bit of help too. What do we think here? One, a drag. Where's the butt though? Where's the left cheek and the right cheek? What do we think? Touchdown there? I think we give him a touchdown there. No, he bobbled it there though. Ooh, I didn't see that bobble that first time. Then he bobbled. Ooh, that's tough. I think with the bobble, I would say it's incomplete, right? But if you want to, you know, pity party and just give them one, then you give them the touchdown because you know that they have already lost and you give them the touchdown. But since that bobble happened, I would say incomplete. I would say not enough evidence to call that. I mean, they say it's a touchdown, you know, them in the booth, but that bobble though, and then you know you're right there. You know, most of the time when you have a bobble, you know, and it's not like they called it touchdown; they called it incomplete. So I'd say they stick with the incomplete call. That's just me because when you're looking at the back, you can't see that the bobble's there. Told you, Cornell wrong, O Dog right. Anytime there's a bobble late like that, you know, and if they would have called it touchdown, then maybe they would have kept it. But since you called it incomplete, they're going to keep it incomplete. I mean, what is a catch nowadays? I mean, there's not really a definitive answer, but oh, big hit. Yeah, but that's the big what if. You know, if he likes to run, he'll never have a long career. And that's not me being a hater. It's just true. Anytime you're going to be an RPO quarterback and you're going to be a runner, you know, and like I said, I had a feeling that he would get hurt in the first 5 years. I didn't think it would be in his rookie year. So I'm hoping that he can slide, throw the ball away, take a sack lunch. You know what I mean? But if he's going to try to be Mr. Everything, his career will be shortened dramatically. So hopefully that he learns from this experience and realizes that taking a sack, you know, throwing a pick, you know, throwing it out of bounds is going to be much, much better, you know, than trying to scramble and trying to run over guys. You know, you got the body frame to do it like Cam Newton. But again, every quarterback that uses his body as a physical runner, you're not going to be able to last in this league. You know, you're going to get popped by a linebacker or a safety, and that's going to be the end of your career. I mean, it's just how it's going to go. So that's the big what if. If he can decide that he doesn't want to run over people, he can have a long career. But if he continues to play like he did in his rookie season, he might only last, you know, 5 to 9 years, and then it might be done. I mean, he might have a bunch of injury riddled seasons, and hopefully not. But you know, that's the big concern for him. Fourth down and 10. Shotgun set. Lawrence, good protection. Shitty throw again. See, that's the difference. When you have CJ Stroud in that situation, you're going to get more of a crisp throw. Trevor Lawrence's throwing motion isn't the greatest. He's like a Ben Roethlisberger, Philip Rivers type. More like Philip Rivers. Like, sometimes it's good. You know what I mean? But like a lot of those throws are underthrown, overthrown, and for a number one pick in the draft, that's unexcusable. Three more likes to 20. I don't know. Mariota can't play anymore, dude. I'm a Duck fan, and I can at least admit that, bro. He gets too injured. He's injury prone. He'll never be a starter in the league ever again. That time is come and gone. He had plenty of chances to be able to prove that he could stay injury free. He's got a good touchdown to interception ratio. He might play tomorrow against Drew Lock, but he'll never be a starter in this league ever again. The NFL is a what have you done for me lately type of league. And if you can't do it in that short amount of time, whether that be 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, teams are going to give up and they're going to be looking at the draft and looking at other, backups, other rookies coming in. And, he had plenty of time to prove that he could do it. And it just injuries caught, the best of him. So at least it wasn't, him being a shitty player. It's really his body let him down. So helmet to helmet there. Yeah, you love the Ducks, man. But it's just, me also being a super Duck fan, I got to keep it real. I love LaMichael James and I love D'Anthony Thomas, but I knew they weren't going to pan out. I knew it. You have to be man's game. You have to be Haloti Nata to pan out. Like Justin Herbert. You have to have all of the size, the strength, the knowledge, the intangibles. You got to check off all the boxes. And if you don't have all the boxes checked off, it ain't going to work out. Like I said, it's one thing to dominate on college and win a Heisman, but the NFL game is different. You might be able to run away for 60-yard rushing touchdowns in college, right? But you got defensive linemen that can keep up with you for 5 seconds, and you can't say that in the college level, you know. Like you got guys that weigh like, 300 to 360 within the first 5 seconds laterally. They can keep up with you. Once you get to that second level with the linebackers, you're gone. But if they can catch you within that first 5 seconds, that's why the NFL is the NFL. D tackles and D ends are so fucking athletic, it's ridiculous. I mean, even linebackers and outside linebackers, they can keep up with some of these, wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. And they may not be able to keep up with them the whole way, but within the first, 5 to 8 seconds, 10 seconds, they can. Thibodeau, yep. A little immature, Thibodeau, obviously, doing like the snow angel thing, after the Daniel Jones incident and whatnot, but having a breakout year this year. And it's exactly what we knew he was as a force of nature for the Oregon Ducks. It took him a couple years to find his footing, but Thibodeau is, obviously that dude. 23-7 Ravens. Lamar's like, get the hell out of here. Or a Penny stool. Yep. It's like you have to be like a freakish athlete. You know what I mean? You have to have that body size too. Lamar with the keeper. What a fake. That was pretty. Go, baby, go. Lamar is so slippery. First down, Ravens. I don't know if we can beat the Jags, though. It depends what Baker Mayfield shows up. If Baker Mayfield shows up, like he did today, beating the shit out of the Packers, that felt good for me. If there's one team that I can beat that's not in the division that I get the most enjoyment out of, it's beating the Packers' ass. 100%. All the people that want to represent for Green Bay, Matt, if you like the Broncos in Green Bay, I'm not excluding you, but all those other people that root for Green Bay, hey, they can suck it, man. I'm really happy. And not only that, Tampa won in Green Bay at Lambeau, and Baker Mayfield is the only person to have a perfect game in Lambeau. So I'll take that, man. Both of us battling for a position, and nothing sweeter than beating the shit out of the Green Bay Packers. And it's been that way for me with Warren Sapp and Brett Favre, and it'll continue to be that way for me until I die. It is good for me. Fuck the Packers. 2-minute warning. You'll never see me roster a Green Bay Packer defense. You'll never see me roster a Green Bay Packer player ever. Not going to happen. Yeah, the fail Mary. Yeah, but also too, Matt, you live in Hawaii. If you didn't live in Hawaii, you probably would be more of an NFL fan. You know, like if you lived in Oregon with me, you would be Ducks, but then there would probably be a team that you would link to. It's like you can link, with the Packers and the Broncos, from Hawaii, but being in Hawaii, there's no team out there and whatnot, and that you're more of a college fan anyways. But I think if you lived in the lower 48, there probably would be a better chance that you would have more love for the NFL. Baltimore Ravens, baby, playing great. Jags, still a really good football team, but it shows you there's a difference between, a Super Bowl contender. And I don't want to say the Jags are a pretender. I still think they're one of the contenders with the Chiefs and the Dolphins. But it shows you maybe the Jags and the Dolphins take a step back, and maybe the Chiefs take a step forward, and then the top dog is the Ravens. You know, so it goes Ravens, Chiefs, and then probably a tie between the Jags and the Dolphins. You take your pick. I mean, if Packer fans, kept their word, maybe things would be okay with me and Packer fans, But if they are fugazi and fake and they like to lie, I got no love for them. I already had no love for them in the very beginning, and it definitely continues down that path. Lamari Christmas, come on, not Lamari. Fourth down and 3. Preston in the building. What's good? Baker did play great today. Harbaugh to Josh Allen. He's like, yeah, you'll be on our team one day. First AFC team to clinch a playoff berth this season. All right, baby. Anything else that anybody wants to see photo wise and whatnot? Yeah. For me, it's more personal experience with people lying to me and being a certain way. So, like I said, if people are going to say they're going to do something and then they decide not to do something, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a man of my word, and so, like I said, it's all based off personal experience. And again, you're going to have rivalries. When I was younger, it was pretty much like I love the Ducks, fuck everybody else in the Pac-10 or the Pac-12. But like I said, I really don't have a whole lot of dislike in the NFL, but if there's one team that I don't like, it's them, and it's pretty much because of their fans. If their fans treated me better and if the fans weren't liars, then I would be probably all right with them, but it is what it is. So Well, I appreciate you guys very, very much. Any last minute photos or anything that you want to be able to see before we go? Reflect. You got anything that you want to see? You're supposed to dislike the Niners, but Grandpa loved them, and then sometimes you'll have that connection, you know. But let me know if anyone else wants to see anything. We got to get Taylor Swift up for Matt so he doesn't have a mental breakdown. Appreciate the effort. Reflect, helping us out, and we've been doing much better. I think 6 out of the last 9 or 5 out of the last 8 have hit with goal. So we've had 2 around this range, 1 around 50 to 75, and then we've had like 6 that have been over 100. One that was like at 2, and then another one yesterday that was over 300. So you got to take the good and the bad. But I'll tell you what, if you didn't support, then obviously the number would have been much, much lower. So I do really appreciate all your support that you give. Thank you so much. There we go. $3 holla. We got to at least get to 25 if we're going to hit a number. If we're not going to be at 100 and we're not going to be at 75 and we're not going to be at 50, we can at least be at quarter of the goal. And I appreciate that. You're awesome. I appreciate you very, very much. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $3 holla. All right, what are we doing? Are we doing the photos for Matt Payton? Yeah, well, I'm not talking about you when I talk about Packer fans or Packer YouTubers. Okay, I'm talking about the people that are fugazi and fake and the liars. That's who I'm talking about. So, like, don't say that you're going to collab with me and then not collab with me and be a liar. I'm not. You're not going to be on my good side. So, no drooling on the screen, Matt. I think she looked cuter with her hair longer. I think the longer her hair was back when she was in high school and like when she first was coming out, like longer like this, that it looks better on her. Not saying that the short hair or shorter hair looks bad, you know what I mean? But it's like Colleen Wolf too. When she had longer hair, I think it matched her face a little bit better. But I mean, it just depends, I guess. If you can pull off different hairstyles and whatnot. You need a touchdown for Travis. Focus, Travis. Yeah, I told you it's a distraction, man. Whether they want to admit it or not, his mind is not focused on football all the time. He's focused on her and other things that are going on in his life. So we'll do food here for a few seconds. Yeah, if I get there, we'll see. Best of 2 weeks. How are you sitting right now? I didn't take a look at where we're sitting. Where are we both sitting now? 152 to 145, so I'm up by 7, and you're only down by, what, 13? That's not too bad. You can make that up. I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible. If it was 23 or more, then I would be like, shit. But 13 is doable. You can do that. You reflect. Remember that. You reflect. You the man. Damn, that looks good. Damn, that looks good. Oh, baby. Taco Tower, baby. MSU in the building. That's good. Nice, MSU. Oh, baby. I got to go for a long walk. But, ooh, baby. Oh, steak and potato and eggs? Nice. 2 more likes to 20. Oh, baby. I'm getting hungry now. All right, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys, very, very much. Shout out to everyone that commented, donated, shared, everyone that watched on Twitter/X. I appreciate everyone in the building. MSU Reflect, you're the MVP. Thank you so much for your support today. Otherwise, it would have been a really rough stream on the Dono side. Shout out to Reflect, MSU, Sarah, Matt, everyone else that's in the room, and people watching on Twitter. I love you and appreciate you, and I'll be back tomorrow with some reaction videos on top of the Eagles and the Seahawks. Hopefully, we get Geno Smith versus Jalen Hurts, not Marcus Mariota versus Drew Lock. But even if that ends up being the case, I think we're still going to have fun. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday night. I'm off to go on another 30 to 45-minute walk with Paisley and then eat some dinner, do some more research and reading. And then I'll be back at it tomorrow for another stream and some more reaction videos on the NFL side. And I got one question for you. Well, you know, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.